What's up, Sifters? What's up, Twitch? What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the best 3 hours of video game discussion you're going to find anywhere on the internet, for this week anyway. Alongside me to do that, of course, is Matt Keil. What's up, Matt?
Let's see who's number 2.
Yeah, who is number 2? What's your favorite video game podcast, actually?
I don't listen to video games.
You don't at all?
No.
I listen to them all.
Man, I don't even listen to this. It's like who wants to listen to two guys talk about video games for 3
Lots
hours?
of people, believe it or not. Even me. Even though we do it here for 3 hours.
The other thing about it is, like, it's different when most of the prominent, like, video game podcasters are people I could just text.
Right. They're just your friends.
It's like, what do I want? I don't know. If I want to know what Patrick Klepek thinks about something, I can ask him.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. My personal favorite video game podcast, other than GameFace, is IGN's multi-platform podcast. Because all their podcasts are like Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation. But then they have one that's just like all the old guys who have worked there for a long time, and they just talk about everything. That's my favorite other podcast. Yeah.
Like all the podcasts I listen to, that is a lot of political stuff and a lot of just dumb literary stuff. I mean, I guess not dumb.
I don't think it's
stuff,
dumb,
but like genre.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, things. I mean, you know, cryptid shit. I don't believe in cryptids, but I like there's a part of me that remembers when I was a kid and would check out all the UFO and Loch Ness Monster books. And
I did that too.
And
Bigfoot.
Think that the world was so much more interesting than it really is. And I like to remember that.
I listen to my podcast taste, other than gaming stuff, changes depending on the time of year. Like right now, my podcasting time is pretty much all tied up in fantasy football podcasts. So I don't have time to like look on the websites anymore. So I'll listen to fantasy football podcasts while I'm playing a game or while I'm working or whatever. Yeah. And then once the football season's over, I'll start listening to like hockey podcasts or whatever.
A lot of movie stuff too.
Yeah. What about you guys? What podcasts do you guys like that other than GameFace? We know already that you think GameFace is number one. But other than GameFace, what other podcasts do you guys listen to?
Not that you'd know it from the number of Apple podcast reviews.
We do have people going and doing that now. Yeah. Thank you very much, guys, for going and reviewing the show.
We break 100 yet?
Yes, we did. Okay. Yep. Welcome to GameFace, episode 453, right here on Sifted Games at Sifted.net. This is the flagship show for Sifted. We're here every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. We do the show live. You can watch it for free. Or you can head to patreon.com/sifted and you can watch it whenever the heck you want. The other thing I should probably mention that I hardly ever mention is that, you know, if you're a patron, you don't have to watch any ads while you watch the episodes of anything. Factor, GameFace, Ask Shane Anything. When you get our content as a patron, you don't have to watch ads. You also get these private premium podcast feeds for our shows. Again, no ads in our podcast feeds. That's the one thing I would say, Matt, is that podcasts are out of control with the ads.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty
Everything
much
is.
Every podcast that I listen to now, I just jump through the first 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
3 minutes of ads.
When I watch, like, some stuff, Mighty Pony Girl mentions Behind the Bastards. That's a great one. Great for games because it's so long. They do in multi-parts, and they're all about basically the worst people in history.
Okay.
Including, like, current people. Like, there's a... I think the longest one they've ever done... I think is it a 6-parter on Steve Jobs or something?
That might be a little rich for me.
It's very entertaining. It's a guy, I can't, Robert something. He was a journalist. He was a journalist in a bunch of wars. Like he was like on the ground war journalist, and basically like lost his patience with everything and just like quit and became a podcaster. And like it's him and his producer Sophie, and they have a different guest every week. Okay. And basically it's him presenting the life story of this horrible person or this horrible group of people, whatever, to the guest, and them reacting to things. And it's very interesting and informative, and you learn a lot of stuff about people you never knew. Their longest one was Robert E. Lee.
Oh,
that was
understand.
Yeah, that was a lot to cover on that one.
That's a lot to cover. Sure.
I recommend that one.
Okay.
Yeah. But you also said something I was going to follow up on, and I don't remember what you were talking about.
Fantasy football podcast, playing games while
No, it was right after doing this the ads. Right.
Oh, the ads. Yeah.
I have a couple of the podcasts I listen to, like there's. Like, I'll be listening to it while I'm playing something, and then I'll just realize that I haven't heard anything interesting in, like, 30 seconds, and I'll look down. Like, there was an ad. It was an ad break on some political. I don't remember which one, but the ad break was 3 minutes long.
Every podcast I listen to,
3 minutes long.
It's 3 minutes of ads before the podcast starts.
This was in the middle of it.
Oh.
Like they did their first topic, and they did 3 minutes of ads on all this like fucking weird.
It's a scam. Like
they're all scams.
These advertisers are getting ripped off because
I love
easy
when
to just skip past the ads.
Like, I love
no
when
one's
you
listening to them.
I love when you can get to you listen to a current podcast of one of these podcasts about how the thing they were advertising 4 years ago is a scam.
Right.
Like honey and all. You know.
That's hilarious.
And now Factor, the meal service, is starting to get hammered for it. And it's just like, okay, do you guys vet anything before you put...
They don't. They just take
Obviously
the money.
Not. I mean,
but these advertisers are getting ripped off. Nobody's listening to these ads because every podcast app, the best podcast apps give you the best ability to skip the ads.
Well, and also like we've talked about YouTube having all the horrible constant ads. I mean, every minute and a half.
Which is
some
insane.
Of these. If the videos do not specify how many ads to put in the video, YouTube just peppers it through.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this. I remember every single product that's advertised to me on YouTube when I'm trying to watch a video, and I will never buy any of those. I will never take a fucking Waymo at this point because you have interrupted way too many sentences. They interrupt actual sentences. I'm like, guys, a little smarter, please.
Yeah. It's, I mean, they're going to figure it out eventually, advertisers. They're going to be like, I listen to podcasts and I can skip through my ads like no problem.
Part of it is just no one's quite ready to admit
that it's all a sham.
Right. Well, no one's quite ready to admit that the broadcast television advertising system worked and made everybody a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the revenue system made sense, and the revenue pipeline was reliable and enough. And now that's all gone.
Yeah.
And it's just people desperately trying to figure out where to make money again on all of this, and it's not happening.
I mean, it's insane that really, if you want to make a living just on YouTube alone, pretty much every video you put up, it needs to do at least 100,000 views. Like every one. Like if you put up one video a day, it needs to do 100,000 views every time. And you need to have other ones that spike higher than that. Right. That's just to make a living.
Right, but even then, like, you've got, like, even the channels that make, you see them get 1 million views per video normal, and, like, they'll get one that's, like, 600,000, and already there's going to be a tweet or something that's, like, it's like, hey, this isn't really coming through the algorithm. It's like one misstep, whether it's their fault or any, who can predict any of this stuff, one underperformance, and, like, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Like, you can see it.
Well, yeah, they won't be able to pay their bills.
Yeah.
Like, it's really that bad. Like, so yesterday... we posted the episode of Pactor Factor Live where he talks about, like, basically the Xbox hardware business is done. It's dead. And we published that episode for everybody on YouTube. Within 5 minutes, I knew it was going to blow up. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like that, like, it got a bunch of comments right away. It's just instantly people were commenting and it was doing a ton of views. I really think that the algorithm on YouTube just picks random crap to just throw in everyone's feeds.
Sometimes that seems to be more or less true. A major channel, like science channel called Kurzgesagt, if you've ever heard of them.
I haven't, no.
They do really elaborate... I bet if you saw one of the thumbnails, you'd recognize them.
Okay.
It's like they do animated science videos. And they put up a new one just today called AI Slop is Killing YouTube and our channel and everyone else's. And it's basically about how LLM stuff is burying everything, and all you can get is AI slop. I mean, that's true, too. Anything I click on that looks even vaguely interesting always ends up being an AI narrator reading an AI script to AI images, and I have to back out and
even like nature videos.
Oh yeah,
now,
mostly everything. And they were like, we did a bunch of stuff with these LLM things to try and the shitty part is that, like, they clearly were using them because they thought it would make their lives easier, their research easier, and they found that 20% of their research over the course of several about 20% of the research was completely unsourced nonsense that the AIs had made up, and 40% beyond that was sourced to AI hallucinated quote unquote paper. Like 60% of what they were getting back from their LLM stuff was false.
Complete garbage. And
they were like, we can't use this. And it's like
terrible.
And it's like, on one hand, it's like, well, it's kind of shitty that you just jumped right into the pool for that, and then you're like, oh, but at least you weren't brainwashed enough to realize like make justifications for it and make excuses, and you backed off of it because it's good to have. I mean, that channel has 25 million subscribers.
Wow.
And it's good to have something that big being like, hey, this isn't working, and you can't anything on YouTube Shorts now. Like you can't trust it being real.
You can trust ours.
Yeah, nobody at AI generate this. Like, what would that even be?
AI would never generate this.
No. AI would be like, that's too boring. We're going to make one of them turn inside out and set them on fire.
But yeah, that Pactor video is blowing up. I think it's still blowing up. I woke up this morning, there was just dozens and dozens of comments. We did nothing different.
That's the Xbox one?
Yeah, about Xbox.
I'm sure some of that is because the Xbox thing is hot in the algorithm.
Maybe.
So,
but I knew it right away. Within 5 minutes of publishing that video, I'm like, this one's going to go.
So the other thing I think is fascinating is sometimes these channels I watch are so proactive about this stuff that you get to watch it in real time. Mm-hmm. Like, so
they give you now the option to upload different thumbnails.
Yeah, I know.
And you can look at the metrics on each one and
no, that's very clearly happening. Like, so, like I watch Vlog Brothers, Hank Green, John Green, those guys, they're huge forever. So yesterday, Hank put up one on the Vlog Brothers channel about a ghost town in Montana that is basically the town that was emptied itself to form Missoula, Montana, when like a major shift in economics happened, 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And it originally went up as a picture of him coming out of one of the buildings, and the title was "Littered with Ghost Towns." Mm-hmm. And the idea is the video is actually about how there's dead websites everywhere. Like the internet is like full of ghost towns now, right? So it went up. I watched it about half an hour after it went up, and then I reloaded the recommendations like a half hour after that. So the video had been up an hour, and already the title had changed from "Littered with Ghost Towns" to "The web is going to die."
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so you needed something scarier to get people. You saw in half an hour that this wasn't building the head of steam that you need from a normal video, so you change it to a more sensational title.
Polygon did that for years. Mm-hmm. Polygon's headlines would never stay the same. And the crazy part is it changes the URL a lot of times when you change the actual copy of your headline. Mm-hmm. So if like SEO's latched on to that, you lose that. Yeah. But you're like, but it wasn't doing well anyway, so latch on to this new one. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. Anyway, how we can start talking about this? Ad-free podcasts on SIFTD's Patreon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just the ongoing YouTube problem.
Advertising and the algorithm and everything. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks to have to try to make a living in this environment.
It's fascinating to see the biggest channels on YouTube struggling with this. It's affecting everyone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, our counts are still down. Like, it doesn't look like YouTube's going to change back the way it used to count views.
I don't think they can. I mean, again,
But it's illegal. It's like if you're telling like these advertisers you're getting X number of views and they're really ad blocked views.
But here's the thing. They all know that too.
Yeah.
Everyone knows.
Because they're using ad blockers.
Right. Because if anyone admits all that, it all comes tumbling down.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Same with the streaming model. Uh-huh. Same with all that shit. Same with the fucking AI. Do you see the Wall Street Journal thing? The 40% of new U.S. economy growth is AI investment. It's all a giant bubble. This is 10 times really bigger than the subprime mortgage scandal. When this thing comes down, the whole fucking economy comes down.
That's not good.
So you better hope all these tech bro dipshits that we all hate or whatever continue to pretend to believe that this is a real thing, because if this goes away with no safety net under it, forget it.
Yeah. Think of how many people will lose wealth over just NVIDIA alone if that happens.
Oh, yeah. Well, you saw, so the NVIDIA line constantly goes up thing is the thing that props the entire AI market up. Mm-hmm. The moment NVIDIA has a quarter that doesn't grow, that's the end of it. Someone's going to chicken out, pull their orders, and it's all going to like cascade from there.
No, you're right.
But did you see that there's a new deal now for AMD to make so they're trying to use AMD as they're basically taking AMD like a little like pole, like sticking it up against the side to buttress
prop it up.
The NVIDIA like tent pole to hope that will hold it up a little longer.
It won't.
It probably won't.
No.
It probably won't.
Let's see how you guys are doing.
Just make sure you've got like 3 weeks of water stored somewhere. That's all that's all I'm saying here, folks. Meanwhile, the power consumption means that our electric bills are doubling and tripling.
Oh, I know. Because we're paying for everyone generating the AI bullshit.
Well, they just like what was the one thing? Some new AI like thing is gonna use the same amount of power as Chicago and San Diego combined.
I mean, Matt, they're building these electricity factories out in the desert and out in the woods just to supply the electricity for this
the plan for OpenAI in the next like couple of years is going to require 3 nuclear power plants worth of power on a monthly basis.
That's insane, dude. This is not sustainable.
Of course not.
Swan Senpai says, I hate to say it, AI is going nowhere. Yeah.
Well,
Shane A28, thank you.
Part of the problem is a whole bunch of these people think Jesus is coming back and it's not going to matter.
Yeah, right.
So.
Well, wasn't the rapture supposed to happen last week?
That was supposed to happen last week. It did not occur. Man, people went crazy. People sold their cars.
I know.
Like, the thing that's crazy that I saw were people that I'd left like extra food and notes for their kids about how to like run the house.
Thinking their
and
kids
I'm like,
wouldn't go
why
with them?
wouldn't your kids come with you? You don't think Jesus wants your kids? Like, did the kids not get saved yet?
Don't think about it too much, Matt.
Like, what?
Sim Racing GG, thank you for Twitch Prime.
My favorite were the people that were just like, they come on, they're like, the day isn't over yet. It could still happen. And I'm like,
wait,
what?
Are you talking about here? Are you talking about in Jerusalem? Or
No,
are you talking
they
about...
must mean... Look, the day ends in Hawaii, basically, right? That's where the international dateline runs. If it hasn't happened yet and you're in Honolulu, it's fucking...
over.
It's time to admit it, folks. Come on.
Mag Handler, thank you for Twitch Prime. Dazzler369, AI is garbage. What else we got up in here? Swan Senpai says, as a test, I had 3 people watching my stream who only lurked. I know they're watching, and my view count was 0. I guess that's on YouTube. But so they're ad blocking Swan Senpai. I'm guessing they had ad blockers on. That'd be my guess. Emperor Dress says lying to advertisers is a morally just act.
They lie to us.
Yeah, they do. Absolutely. The only psyop you should fall for is to try Body Harvest from Emperor Dread.
Right.
What else we got in here?
I have played
Mr.
Ayuden Chronicle. It is good.
It is good, yeah. Game Scoop, Mr. Starwalker reminds, the podcast I was talking about was Game Scoop, which is my favorite.
Although it didn't, that Mr. Starwalker didn't get posted to chat because Twitch flagged foreplay as sex-based terms, and it expired before it could be posted.
I can't. Yeah, I couldn't. I can't okay it. Unfortunately, it's too late. Tons of YouTube shorts are AI slop in my feed.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know it. You see the video start to play, and it's like a tiger fighting 8 anacondas.
Right.
And you're like, that's not real.
No, it's not real. But then you see, like, there was the one video where 1,000 beavers helped a bunch of guys build a bridge. And you've got all these, like, Midwestern grandmas being like, that's so nice that those beavers... I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you people?
They don't know. They're so naive.
How have you lived on this planet for 70 years and you don't know that beavers don't do that?
I mean, as my mom has gotten older, I've definitely seen some things.
At the very least, like, it's not like, they don't build bridges, they build dams. It's two very different structures.
Yeah. Eric Cartman has asked, does Sifted still sell merch? So we don't have any... limited edition merch, which is the stuff that we produce in-house right now. But you can buy, we have like a merch shop at sifted.net where it's just like a generic spreadshirt shop where you can get hoodies and hats and coffee mugs and stuff like that. I am thinking about doing a new run of stickers in the very near future, one of which would be the Duck Consulting Agency. And I've thought about doing another run of shirts, but our last run, man, I ended up holding on to some of those shirts for like a year and they weren't selling.
And you don't have a warehouse, you just have an apartment.
Right.
So.
And so I had stacks of shirts just like sitting on a bed for like an entire year. Yeah. And my wife was like, no mas.
And you can't store them in my garage because they'll be covered in spiders.
Right. Yeah. So I doubt it. We may do a run of stickers here in the near future, but probably not shirts. But again, if you want merch, there's a spread shop store. Just click the merch link at the header at sifted.net and you can go there. In fact, somebody just ordered a sweatshirt like yesterday or whatever.
You think beavers like build dams across rivers because it's the most convenient place to get the materials to do that, or do you think a beaver sees running water and is like, "Fuck that"?
I don't know, actually.
Like what's the instinctive trigger for that?
I don't know. I think they're just gnawing. I think gnawing is their instinctive trigger. Tavis 206 ordered a Sifted hoodie the other day. Yep, thank you very much, Tavis. That's awesome, man. We appreciate it. Now we don't. I think we get like 30% or something like that from Spreadshirt. So we don't get all the money from that, but everything matters. So help us if you can, Tavis. We appreciate it, brother. Andy T. Monahan, and yet YouTube's updated algorithm cut out a majority of views if their viewers are using mobile. So wait, now that's the new thing, that if users are using mobile, the views are gone?
Well, good news. I almost never watch YouTube on mobile.
Me too.
Because there's too many fucking ads.
It's the worst. Yep. And you have to click that little skip button.
And I feel like, I mean, even watching it on like PlayStation or something, there's still I feel like there's more ads on mobile.
I agree. Yeah.
Like I feel like I don't get as many ads when I put it on the TV to watch like a stream.
Most people's phones don't have ad blocker, so they're going to shove more ads.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't have ad blocker on my consoles, obviously, but I feel like I get more ads on my phone.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Yep.
I blocked the living shit out of it on my PC. I mean,
Me too. I have to work on YouTube all day. There's no way I can watch the ads. I'll never get my job done. Blitcha says Iron Lord's podcast is great. Haven't heard of that one. Over on YouTube. I don't know that one. Mike's Q Novak says I used to listen to Hello from the Magic Tavern, but have not listened in years.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Chill Robots, thank you for the compliment. You love the show. We love you. Thank you for your support.
I used to listen to Welcome to Night Vale, but it got a little long in the tooth after a while.
Tekken Master says he listens to Giant Bomb Game Mess Mornings, which is a little bit like Good Morning Gaming, which I used to do here on SIFTD for quite a while.
And of course, Serial. Back in the day. I got it, man. I will say, I remember it took me so long to get the podcast pun that it's embarrassing. It was like years.
Yeah.
Which is especially embarrassing when we were at Tech TV and like podcasts were like all they talked about on screensavers for like 3 years at that point. And at some point in like 2006 or 7, I was like, podcast. I do that all the time.
Well, the whole cast thing is like.
Well, it's like how it took me 10 years to get the Miles Prower joke.
Oh.
Because the first time I ever read it, IGN wrote it as Miles Tails Prower, and it said get it, and I'm like, no, what is that? Because I was saying it with tails in the middle of it, and and until Sonic Adventure put it right there with no tails in the middle, I'm like Miles Prower. Oh, I don't remember who wrote that article in EGM, but I'm still mad at whoever that was, because that was a terrible way to phrase that.
Zsaber Juno says, GitHelp is getting grilled right now for selling user data. That's another thing. Yeah. We do not sell your user data. Anybody who has been a subscriber to SIFTD or a user of SIFTD for the last 10 years knows this, that we do not sell your data. Because you know that you have not got weird emails with that email address or anything. You know we have never given our users to anyone. And everybody else does it.
Every once in a while, I will put like a weird fake name in when I sign up for things like that, just to see who gave the data to the advertisers.
So when I launched SIFTD, I created a bunch of email addresses when I was working with Brent and everything. I'm like, I want email addresses for editorial, marketing, blah, blah, blah. And then I started talking to PR people. I'm like, hey, we're launching SIFTD. They're like, hey, okay, well, give us your email addresses. And I gave them all those email addresses. And like, now those email addresses are starting to get spam from those PR. I won't name any names. I will after the show. I'll tell you who it was.
Well, you've told me some of that before.
Yeah, so a very prominent PR person who I had a lot of respect for sold all of the contact information for all the journalists in the games industry. I still haven't called her out on it because it's like, why? But I know exactly who it was because I gave her very specific email addresses, and now those email addresses are getting email and spam because she gave them away. So, yeah, that is definitely a problem. Not a problem you have to worry about on SIFTD. Or we do everything the right way. We go above and beyond to cover you guys and protect you guys. It doesn't seem like any of that stuff matters. Nobody cares that, like, we've never taken $1 from a video game company, that our editorial integrity is peerless. Nobody cares that,
nobody thinks about any of that stuff.
They don't. Nobody cares that we mod our site really hard and we keep, like, scumbags off our site. Nobody cares about any of it. It's really frustrating.
People just think that everything is just, like,
the same. It all sucks. Well, like, there are actually people out there who bust their asses to make stuff not suck. I'm one of them.
Well, and also, like, you just get all these people that, like, instantly assume everything is, like, some kind of conspiracy against them. Like, it's like, oh, IGN gave this an 8. Well, clearly they were paid off. Sony paid them off to give Yotei a high score. It's like, did Sony just forget to send the checks for Concord or what? Like, why didn't that get scores through the roof? Like, what? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. DC Skate says, I tried to watch an IGN Xbox podcast a few days ago. Ad breaks were literally every 2 minutes through the entire podcast. Cutting to ads mid-sentence. Also the same 2 ads every time. It was unwatchable. And I'm sure that's happening to our podcast, too. Like, I am pretty judicious about... Here's the problem. And I don't want to spend too much time on this. We need to get into the show. But here's the thing. Is like, if you go in and try to set up the ads yourself on YouTube, you have to do it like a week in advance. Because if you insert your own ad breaks, YouTube won't serve ads right away on your video. They have to go through them and make sure that you put them in the right places. And they'll reject them and say, you don't get any ads on this video at all. So there's times where I go to, like, publish GameFace early Saturday morning for all our YouTube crew. And I'll go to set the ads up, and I'll go and put them in by myself. And it takes a long time to do that. You're watching the show, you're finding the breaks, you're writing them down, you're putting them in the YouTube interface, and then you click submit, and it just says F you. And you don't get any ads at all. So what a lot of people who work on YouTube do is just like, screw it. I'll just let you run the ads because otherwise you're not going to run any ads at all. Like, anyway, don't just hate the creators on this. people who work on YouTube are put in a really crappy position with ads.
There's nothing you can really do. I know that the Dice...
Other than support us on Patreon,
right.
We get everything ad-free.
Well, that's what the Dice Tower does. Where like the guy who owns that basically says like, it's like we set it to have no ads on our videos specifically because like it's bullshit and it's annoying, and we are lucky enough to make enough from Patreon and our yearly like support us Kickstarter that we don't need to do that.
Yeah.
But he's like, but a lot of people don't, and they're stuck.
We need
with
the
this terrible
YouTube
system,
revenue. We have to have,
and that's it. Like there's nothing you can do about it. So,
yeah. But just know I'm doing everything I can to help you guys out. I want your situation to be good.
But if you've never worked from the back end of YouTube, like they put every obstacle in your path to make it difficult to make that stuff work the way it would be convenient for a viewer.
Yeah.
And and it'll sometimes it still slips through. Mm-hmm. Like it'll like reset the preferences and like something will get uploaded that way, and then like you have to I see it on Dice Tower. Like, like this has ads on it. And like sorry, we'll turn that off. I don't know how that happened because it's so archaic that it's like
the other you just have to spend so much time. I spend an hour almost getting the episode ready on YouTube, making sure I have the description right, I have the time stamps in there, I have the hashtags right, I'm not using too many hashtags, I'm using the right hashtags, I'm searching to make sure the hashtags actually have like action around it takes forever, and then you do it and it doesn't matter. It's so frustrating. I can't even tell you, to have been doing this for 10 years and get no reward for that after all this time. It's crazy. So anyway, I just recommend like $5 a month on Patreon, man, to have no ads, to have your own private podcast feed. It's awesome. If you have all our feeds set up in your phone, shit's just popping into your phone like every day. Here's a new episode of Pactor Factor. Here's a new episode of Ashing Anything. Here's GameFace. Here's Pactor Factor Live. It just happens. And whether you're on a flight, you're in your car, you're getting our content bang, 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 bang. It's $5 to avoid all the hassle that you deal with on YouTube. It would be awesome if you would consider that.
It's the only way to make sure that your Pactor is not AI.
Seriously. That's true. And the other one thing I will say before we move on and get into the show.
I'm surprised that's not a thing. Like AI Michael Pactor making weird predictions about things.
Seriously. It's going to happen someday, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that blows my mind, Matt, is like, so that video's blowing up yesterday, and it's just getting flooded with comments. And all these people are like, I remember when Pactor said back in 2003. I remember when Pactor said back in 2006. I remember when Pactor said back in 2008. And then they write something that is so childish and immature. It's literally like an 8-year-old wrote it, and they're in their 40s. These people are in their 40s, and they're acting like 8-year-old kids. It is mind-blowing, dude, honestly, that there are so many people our age that are so childish. It's crazy. They're still fanboys, Matt. They still hate Xbox in their 40s.
Yeah.
What the hell?
As the saying goes, think about how smart the average person is and then realize that half of them are dumber than that.
It's nuts. Anyway.
And most of them seem to play video games.
Well, we are ready to kick off GameFace 453 proper after our little intro that we always do with you guys. This is actually fun. I enjoy doing this. I realize people who just want to hear game talk start watching our show and get frustrated very quickly. They're like, just get to the games. I don't want to hear about this crap.
We're about the world.
Seriously.
And the world has games in it.
It does.
And that's what we're getting.
I mean, generally, when we talk about anything, it's tied into games somehow.
Yeah.
Like, we very rarely just go on some tangent that isn't related to games. Like,
but context is important. People go on and on about context. And we give you context.
We definitely
context
do.
of the whole fucking planet.
That's true.
If Mars has anything to do
with games,
with Hades 2, we're going to talk about it. And it does, because Mars is the Roman name for Ares.
Nice. You also learn something every episode of GameFace. I promise you that. I know when I come over here every time, Matt tells me something before we go on air that I was like, I didn't know that.
Well, that's a side effect of, as I was telling people over the weekend at one point, how come you didn't knew that when you were young? Because the idea that you don't know what you don't know. Yeah. So how could you find this out before? I'm like, well, my parents bought me an encyclopedia set, and I didn't really understand how encyclopedias were supposed to be used, so I just read them. For like a year when I was in 5th, 6th grade, I just read the World Book Encyclopedia. Yeah. And I skimmed I didn't read every word of the Albania.
Well, yeah, when you got to Y, you just
I was excited to get to Y. I was like, oh, that's the weird one. Yeah, it was like there was the WXYZ was like all one volume. I'm like, oh, I've been waiting for this one.
I can get through 4 letters in a day.
S was like 3 fucking. I'm just like, oh, this just goes on forever. Okay, salt. Here we go. But no, I burned through that in about a year, and then like afterwards realized that wasn't how you're supposed to use a reference book. But
Costa Kip, thank you for Twitch Prime. I'm going to miss a bunch of Twitch Prime people today, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
In fact, because that Pactor video blew up, we got a ton of Twitch Prime, which is awesome. But unfortunately, they're all disappeared from our chat. But anyway, we got to get on with the show.
Also, reading all the way through a 1986 encyclopedia means you have a lot of things to correct over the subsequent 40 years.
That's true. So. We are reviewing Ghost of Yotei today. We are going to talk about the insane Game Pass price increases and what that means for Xbox hardware going forward. We're going to review Hades 2 today. We have an awesome lightning round news roundup today. It's going to be a great show. But before we get to it, here's a word from our sponsor, L to the S to the Cream.
It's LS Cream, the fine cream liqueur crafted by fellow gamer and sifter, Stevens Charles. Inspired by the Haitian drink crémasse, LS Cream delivers an award-winning experience with every single pour. One sip and you'll see why. It's a party favorite. The silky blend of fresh cream and premium neutral grain spirits mixes great with everything. I dare you to put a shot in your coffee. I've been drinking it for years and still, I find new combinations that taste incredible. LS Cream is the kind of drink that keeps surprising you thanks to its notes of vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg, and coconut. Take it to any gathering and watch it steal the spotlight. We've never seen anyone resist. Ready to join the fan club? Head to creamls.com/sifted for recipes, retailers, and online orders. That's creamls.com/sifted.
All right. Hopefully you guys have not forgotten about the LS Cream 5K challenge that we debuted last week. Again, entries for that are open until the end of the year, December 31st. Just some details I got to run through every time because there's actually legal stuff involved with this. And actually, Stevens Charles emailed me this week and said, hey, there's one other thing you need to add to that, and I will. First of all, for the LS Cream 5K challenge, you need to make your own cocktail recipe using LS Cream. And then you need to take a picture of the drink that you made and make sure the LS Cream bottle is sitting next to it, and then go post it on Instagram. Once you post it on Instagram, make sure you tag LS Cream Liqueur, and then add a hashtag LS Cream 5K challenge to the post, and then tag at least 3 people on the post, and you're entered. Now, there's a couple red tape things, hoops you got to jump through to make sure you're officially registered. Make sure you go to creamls.com/sifted. Jump through the splash page there, go to the main page. The first thing you have to do, and this is what he told me to make sure I mention, is you have to register. If you want to sign up for the contest, you have to make sure that you register at creamls.com/sifted. So make sure, first of all, that you register. And then there's a contest form there that you need to fill out. And I don't think you can technically fill out the contest form unless you've logged in, but still we need to mention it for legal reasons. So anyway, fill out the contest form. I would also recommend that when you upload your drink recipe to Instagram, include the recipe, what you put in there, and maybe name it even. I would say if you name your drink, your chances of winning are going to go up. Mm-hmm. Just saying. It's probably going to help. So anyway, once you register for the LS Cream 5K challenge at creamls.com/sifted, then go to Instagram, do all the other stuff we talked about, and then cross your fingers and hope you win. So again, you have until December 31st to get your entries in. Make sure you get yourself a bottle of LS Cream. Even if you just get it and use another recipe, you won't regret it. I promise you, LS Cream is awesome. So again, go to creamls.com/sifted, register, and sign up for the LS Cream 5K challenge. All right. It's time to start talking about the Vidya games. And we're going to kick it off with maybe the biggest game release of the year. One of the biggest, I think. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Even though it's an exclusive, everybody has a PlayStation, so that doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the other... I mean, it's Mario Kart World, maybe. I mean, not sales-wise, I guess, but in terms of, like, importance of IP kind of thing. Yeah.
We're only getting 2 PS5 exclusives from Sony a year at this point, so when they come along, we got to make them count. And we are going to talk today about Ghost of Yotei. What would you call this? The spiritual successor to Ghost of Tsushima?
It's a sequel.
You think it's a sequel?
Yeah.
It's what, 300 years later?
It's 300-400 years later. It's the equivalent of, like, it's the distance between this and the first one is the same as the distance between today and like 1645 or something.
Yeah,
like it's a long time later.
Yeah,
but it is the same game. You know, it's the same game.
Right.
Like it's all the systems are in place but.
So have you discovered any ties to Ghost of Tsushima? I have not.
I haven't seen any. I mean, she also gets some Sly Cooper referencing clothing. but that's because he also had a Sly Cooper outfit, but that's the only connection.
Because Sucker Punch.
Yeah, it's just Sucker Punch.
That's about the only thing we're gonna
Sly
get.
Cooper's dead, but he apparently still shows up in their games as Easter eggs.
Yeah, that's about all we're gonna get from Sly Cooper from here on out. I think is stuff
unless Sony gives it to somebody else. I mean, yeah. I don't feel like there's a lot of gold left in that mine.
I don't either.
Really.
I don't know that there are a lot of people begging for a new Sly Cooper.
The original trilogy is great. The fourth one I didn't find very compelling, and I'm kind of okay if you want to just let that lie.
Yeah. Well, the plot in this game is pretty much identical to Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's
very
striking
similar.
how similar the two games are. Like, it just worked out that way that they both came out the same year.
Yeah.
Both these games have been in development for years and years, and
it's set a little bit after Shadows. Mm-hmm. But they do mention the Portuguese a couple of times.
Yeah, they do.
The Portuguese have come, given them their guns, and been chased off already.
Right,
so,
yeah.
There's definitely some connections there.
So the plot is you play as a young girl. At the beginning of the game, you watch sort of the cutscenes. And believe me, I cut out a ton of spoilers out of those early cutscenes for you guys. But basically, you're a young girl. They're not shoguns, are they?
No, they're basically
lords.
They're outlaws who have styled themselves as the lords of Ezo, because Ezo is such a untamed place that no one's really the shogun.
They're like the mob, basically.
The shogun has no real control there, so they can just sort of declare themselves the rulers of Hokkaido, and that's
they're
that.
Just terrorizing the area, basically. And they've come. They believe that
Yotei 6.
Yeah, they believe that her father has wronged them in some way. And they come to their farm and basically kill her parents.
Yeah, you don't she doesn't know why because she's a kid.
Yeah, she's like 6 or 7.
She's 12.
Is she 12?
She's 12.
She looks so much younger.
She's 28 when she comes back 16 years later to kill them all. She's 28 in the present day of the game.
So they kill her
according
parents.
to the cosplay guide that they put out.
They leave her for dead. They think that she's died burning up in this tree. She has not. She escapes.
The bad guys in this game have a real problem with not killing people when they should.
Like,
if you really want to tie these loose ends up, just stab them. Because that's what I do, and it works pretty well.
Yep. But she got away, and she comes back 16 years later looking for vengeance against the Yotei 6.
Like, I can't count how many times somebody's captured me in this game and just tied me up and not even taken my fucking swords away.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's not going to work out. I don't know if you know this. It's not going to work out well for you.
And if you remember, the plot of Assassin's Creed Shadows was the same thing. A young girl's family gets murdered, and she goes to get revenge, basically against the people who killed her parents. Mm-hmm. How would you compare and contrast this plot against Shadows? A lot of people have played that.
I mean, I really wouldn't, because this is a Kurosawa story, and Shadows is a Netflix series.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that is, I think, the most striking contrast between this and Shadows, and to be clear, when I say Kurosawa, like they changed the tone on this from the first one. The first one is drawing from Kurosawa, like Seven Samurai and Ran. This is drawing from Yojimbo Sanjuro, the more wild Kurosawa, the stuff that got turned into spaghetti westerns.
Yep.
Down to the soundtrack recognizes that too.
Yeah, this has more fun for me.
This is just a much more vivid portrayal and bit of storytelling, whereas Shadows, as much as I love I like a lot of the characters in Shadows, but the storytelling in Shadows is dry as a bone.
It is. It feels like it tries to be historically accurate, but it's really not.
Well, everybody's if Shadows, certainly in terms of the acting between not characters that know each other, like the characters, like the scenes between like Naoi and Yasuke, and like the kind of their league, the Assassin's League they're forming. Yeah. Those are pretty good. Like, those are fine. Yeah. But when they're talking with people out in the world to get the side quests and the main quest set up, it's so formalistic, and I'm sure that's intentional, but it doesn't. After 80 hours, it's like what people who don't know anything about Shakespeare think Shakespeare's like.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
This was kind of a breath of fresh air, I thought.
This is a much more
it's embellished.
It's more human.
Yeah.
It has there's life to it. Like as soon as you meet these characters, you know who they are.
You remember them. Like I forgot a lot of characters in Shadows.
Oh yeah.
These characters have way more personality. They may not be historically accurate, but I don't care. I want to have fun playing games.
Well, like we don't know what people were still people
right.
at any given time.
They still crack jokes. And,
maybe that wasn't how they wanted the history recorded, but I guarantee you, the main thing we would probably be shocked at if any of this kind of stuff was historically accurate is how much more fart and dick jokes there were. Because that, if you go back to that's that ruin in Pompeii, because everything got frozen in time. Basically, most of the graffiti is just dick stuff.
Right.
Like people have drawn penises on things for as long as there have been people.
And that's not to say that's what this game is.
No,
like.
not at all. But I'm just saying, like, historically accurate is not what you think it is.
Right.
Historically accurate
could be a little more ribald.
Could be because people are people.
Right.
So like historical accuracy doesn't mean anything, and this doesn't need to be accurate because it's really telling its own story that's made up and its own. I mean, that isn't even the tallest mountain in Hokkaido.
Right.
But it is the tallest mountain that doesn't have any other mountains around it.
And the people remember.
And even the people who live. So I've seen reviews of this game from people who live here, who live in Ezo, and they're like, "This captures where I live better than anything else I've ever seen."
Yeah.
And I understand why they picked Mount Yotei, because it is the thing that looms over everything. Because the biggest mountain there is Mount Asahi, like the beer.
Yeah.
And it's bigger, but it's part of a mountain range.
Right.
So it just
So
sort
it
of is the
doesn't stand
tallest
out.
peak in
Yeah.
a line.
It's the
Like this
tallest
one
peak.
is like
all by itself.
They portray this thing as basically a god.
It's kind of a character in
the
the
game. It is a character, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like it personifies the location, and it does a good job at it. And so I think and also this is coming from someone who I've played probably 30 hours of Shadows recently, because when they did that September update, I jumped back in to try to play the DLC, and I never got any or close to it, because you got to finish the main story, and it just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah.
And then I did finish Tsushima on PC and played the DLC for the first time in the summer. So I'm coming off of like 80 hours of Shadows for the year, and probably 30 hours of Tsushima in the summer. And I have played 30 hours of this in the last week.
Yeah.
This game is fantastic.
Yeah.
It is. I was like really a little worried that like I was going to get into this and be like, my samurai battery is empty. Like I just don't have any more.
There's been a lot. Yeah.
There's been a lot of like, old school Japan sword slinging. And this is like
I'm still enjoying it.
Playing this game is like I haven't touched a katana all year.
I wouldn't go that far. I definitely have a little bit of fatigue for this, but I am enjoying this more than Shadows.
Yes, I definitely like this more than Shadows, and I like this more than Tsushima.
Me too. By a lot, actually.
Because one of the things that was tiresome about Tsushima is how you'd hit points where you're like, okay, I got to figure out what to do now. Yeah. I got to pick this and go. The organic way you discover content in this game is phenomenal. This is one of the best open world designs I have ever seen.
There's a very simple trick that they use called the Wolf Pack, which is just this screen of characters that you can cycle side to side through, and they tell you what every person has and what they need. Like, this guy has an upgrade for you. This merchant has a new bow for you. This person has an upgrade to your dual swords. This person has it,
okay,
and you can just go there.
Right. So let me tell you something, because we did talk about that before the show.
Yeah.
I have never used the Wolfpack screen for anything.
Really?
In fact, the only reason I know what you're talking about there is because last night I unlocked the last character in the Wolfpack screen, and I was scrolling through it to see like if there are any, because the Wolfpack screen is like a lineup of all the major characters, and before they're unlocked, they're like blurry in the background, so you can see if there's more. And so I was looking through to see if there were any blurry people back there, if I was missing any, and I wasn't. And that was when I realized that you can click on those guys, and they'll just tell you what they need you to do, or if it's someone who spawns randomly, it'll automatically set up camp, and that person will come visit you. So I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But like, I haven't actually used that.
You didn't need to.
No, well, because also you can just fast travel back to places, and it tells you
what's
available and who's there, and whether they have anything for you in that screen as well. But when I say organic, I mean discovering side quests and
just roaming around,
cutscenes and things in the like. You think I'm just going to go over here, and like on the way, You've run down this road, up and down this road 15 times already, and all of a sudden this thing happens, and you think maybe it's a group of bandits, I'll kill the band. No, like this is different, and there's a story to it, and this guy you rescued is going to take you over to this thing, and that's going to unlock this bounty for this thing. Like it's amazing.
There's
like,
no downtime.
There's
no
not at all.
Wondering what you're gonna do. Where do I go next?
To the point that I don't even because I don't fast travel a whole lot in some of these games. I fast travel sometimes because I'm like, I can't afford to be distracted by whatever weird shit you're about to throw in my path between here and there. So I'm just gonna jump right over there because I want that katana upgrade right now.
Yeah.
So I cannot say enough good things about how impressed I am about how much this doesn't feel like the normal Ubisoft open world formula.
Yeah.
Like this feels like a world that unfolds in front of you, and it's
kind
like
of literal.
It's like a
with the map mechanic and everything.
And it's like a good DM in in a tabletop RPG. Like it's just like, okay, you're ready for this. I'm just gonna put this in front of you, and here you go. Maybe you follow this. Maybe you keep doing what you're doing, but maybe, hey, this is here now, and it's like just put there in front. Like you think, like just I'm gonna fast travel here because it's the closest thing to the thing I want to do. What's that thing? Why are there candles over there? Like, why is that thing on fire over there? You gotta go over there, and it's like a whole new thing opens up, and it's crazy.
You stumble across important stuff. Like I was telling you before we recorded today, I was just running around the woods and I ran into this woman. He's hanging out next to his stone, and her dead husband's sword is leaning up against the stone. And she's like, "You can have it." And just out of nowhere, and weapons in this are hard to get. New weapons.
Well, that's not a new weapon; it's a skin,
right?
But like
for a sword, but even those are hard to get though. You have to pay crazy money for them.
So all the pillars of honor have a sword against it, just like the first game. But like that one is special because there's a widow there. Like there's a story behind that sword kit.
Yeah.
Which actually makes me more likely to use it than just finding it against a random pillar. The game's full of stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's little things that make it feel a little more alive and a little less like grid-like is the only thing I can think.
Well, they also found a smart solution to get rid of the sinking from Assassin's Creed. So instead of climbing up something and hitting a button and everything falls in the map, there's a merchant that you buy these maps from. He gives you these little scraps of map, and then you go into the main map, and you have to find where they fit in the main map and seat them there.
And that also happens organically. If people tell you a rumor or something, that you get a scrap that you can place wherever. Yep. And if you really don't know where they go, it highlights the square where it goes. Yeah. And there is a video of a streamer spending 60 seconds tapping, just moving it everywhere and hammering the X button to try to figure out where it goes because he can't, and it's just the glowing square is right there, and he just doesn't understand what he's looking at. Yeah. And it's amazing.
Well, it fills in the map. It gives you more detail, but it also will
you understand why the thing where yellow paint is on everything in video games happens because of people like that.
And when it fills in that area of the map, it will also tell you stuff that's there. Like, is there an altar there that you can use to level up? Like, so those little scraps of paper, it fills in more information in the map, but it also gives you more mission objectives and more things to stumble upon out in the open world.
You can also use your spyglass if you get up high, and if you see something that you haven't seen before, it'll highlight it in gold, and like it'll go and it'll mark that on your map as like a glowing gold thing that indicates that you know it's there, but you haven't been there.
Yeah,
like there's so much thought put into this game.
Play this however you want, in what order you want. Like the game just starts and it's like, okay, go kill the Yotei 6, and that's all they tell you. And so I started the game, and you're starting this little town, and instead of going off to the left on this little offshoot, I went way north, and I ended up spending like 10 or 15 hours in the north going. I killed like 2 or 3 of the Yotei 6 or whatever. I look at the map, I see this little spot like an inch or two away from where I started. I'm like, what is that? I go down there. It's this huge plot point in the game that I had postponed for like 10 or 15 hours that I could have experienced right away that adds so much more context for all the stuff that I was doing up north. And the game didn't break. Like, at no point when I was up north for all that time did anybody spoil what had happened at that other place.
No, and I went to that place second. So I went to the
most
place you
people
missed.
probably would.
Well, I went there first because you can see exactly what you need to upgrade your weapons going forward, and the special ingredient for the second major upgrade.
You have to get it there.
It's by the name of it, it's pretty obvious it comes from that area. So I went there first. Yeah. And which probably is where most people go first because it's also the closest.
Yep.
And then eventually, so the thing that I thought, so there's six Yotei. And I was a little disappointed. The Yotei 6, there's 6 of them, obviously. And I was a little... you're seeing them pop up here right now. I was a little disappointed at first because the opening of the game, you kill one of them. Is like you're back and you go after the first dude, and that's the intro to the whole thing, and that's where she gets the ghost nickname, and everybody sees her for the first time, etc. And then so you got 5 left, and 2 of them were working together. So 2 of them are like a unit, and one of them is the big.
They're a package
deal.
deal.
And one of them is the big boss, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so basically it's like 3 guys and then the big guy. I'm like, this is gonna be over in a second. But then you get to like, so I haven't really gotten too far on the others, but I've gotten through the one guy is the Oni, and like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna. And the story for that section, it just goes on. And the thing that's great about it,
Saito right away
is it
doesn't
let
me go after him.
You can go, but it's like it doesn't like the twists and turns on that are really interesting. And one of the cool things about this is like unlike Assassin's Creed Shadows, and to some degree unlike Tsushima, like this game does a really good job in terms of how they build the missions, build the structure of the story, build up what happens in each mission and each main story mission. That what she's trying to do is basically impossible.
Yeah.
And the fact that
everybody tells her that.
And she constantly runs into these setbacks and these things don't work out properly and she ends up having to like fall back and try again and everyone tells her she's crazy. Yeah. And like it all works. Like you feel unlike in Assassin's Creed Shadows where sometimes I feel like I've killed major characters by accident. Yeah. And like I'm just randomly clearing a castle and I stab a guy and a big thing. I'm like, "Oh, were you important, sir? I'm sorry. I just wanted the chest over here. You're dead now, I guess." Like that screen on Assassin's Creed Shadows is littered with dead people that I'm just like, I don't know who that guy was, but apparently he was on a roster somewhere, whatever. We'll tabulate it up when we're done.
Yeah.
But here it's like, no, like you got to work your way through these people, and it feels very cool. It's very cool, very satisfying. And there are consequences for what she's doing, and you get attached to the land and the people there, and like everything that's happening as a result of her being there is like, played up really strong. Like I am thoroughly impressed by this game, top to bottom, in a way I really didn't expect. Because I wanted to play it. I love Tsushima. I love the first game.
Yeah.
I love everything Sucker Punch has ever done, except maybe Second Son. And like, I was like, oh yeah, cool. No, I'm into it. And I really wasn't ready for how much I like this game.
I like the design, the structure of this game more than Shadows, but there are things that I like more in Shadows for sure.
Well, Shadows, I think, has a more impressive technical presentation.
Yeah.
Like I prefer the way this game looks because of art direction, because of color use. I mean, I will go on and on about Sucker Punch's color use forever.
Yeah.
Just the art direction and the way this looks and the way the world has a personality to it is amazing. But like, from a technical perspective, Assassin's Creed Shadows version of Japan looks like a photo sometimes.
This isn't quite up to scratch.
And the changing seasons are an incredible accomplishment. The fact that the landscape is different in every season is impressive. I mean, it's just
still a great looking game. As you're seeing from the B-roll. Don't get us wrong.
And it runs like a bat on either PlayStation.
This is on ray tracing mode, by the way, on a base PS5, just so you guys know.
And I've got mine on ray tracing on the Pro, and it runs just great.
There was like a moment where I was watching a cutscene and there was just a big pile of grass next to the characters, and it literally almost like freaked me out watching the grass move all those blades separately from each other. It freaked me out a little bit. I was like, whoa, like what is that?
There's a bunch of like, I'm impressed by some like especially having just come off Tsushima and how forget Tsushima's a PS4 game.
Yeah.
And like how much better like just the detail on the fabric and the these objects in this game survive close-ups in ways the PC version of Tsushima even just don't.
Yeah.
And it's I love all that stuff.
So I agree with you. I think the graphics are better in Shadows for sure.
Yeah. But I don't think it matters.
No,
really.
This game still looks amazing.
Yeah.
But Shadows is just like kind of next level, man. Like
Shadows is one of the most impressive technical achievements
really
I've ever
is.
seen in open world.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just. There are moments where you're running through the forest and the light's coming down through the trees and like the fall thing in Assassin's Creed Shadows where you're like, wow, what the hell? Like how are we
playing this?
You want to turn, especially because we just did a rewatch of the Tron movies in preparation for Ares this week. And before that, my friend, we did at his house, and he put up Tron Deadly Discs on the 2600 as like when people get there and we hang out, we eat, and then we do the movie. So like he had Tron Deadly and I'm just like, I was just playing this game and I'm thinking about Shadows and I'm just like, man,
how did we get here?
Go back and show 6-year-old me
this.
that and just
your brain would just
you wouldn't be able
to
accept it. It wouldn't be.
And then gameplay-wise, I go back and forth. Sometimes I feel like I like the gameplay more in Shadows, but then there's moments where I like it more in this game.
I vastly prefer this game.
Do you? They're different styles.
They are very different. I just think Shadows feels much more stilted.
Yeah.
And it's more there's a specific way you get through the defenses of enemies in Shadows.
Yeah.
And everything is devoted to doing that. There are multiple ways to do that in this. The big thing in this is
you have to use the right weapons.
Having to use the right weapons, but because Shadows also has a bunch of different weapons, but you A, have to switch characters to switch between several of them, and B, they aren't really set up to be especially effective in every situation, and this is.
Yeah.
So the weapons in this game take the place of Jin's stances in Tsushima. And it's a massive improvement.
Yeah.
Because
it's a lot less clunky.
It is a lot less clunky. Well, it's the same rock, paper, scissors style kind of thing.
Concept.
You use different stances or different weapons to fight certain characters in certain stances or with certain weapons. The thing is, all of Jin's stances had their own move sets to some degree, but I could never remember which ones were which because it's just
I hardly use it.
It's just like he holds the sword a different thing. Like sometimes I would use the brute stance just to get through the big dudes, but generally I used the center stance and got through everything just fine.
I hardly ever change. I change in this all the time.
In this one you change all the time, in part because the differences are more pronounced. Like you're going to notice, especially once you've upgraded the skill trees to a certain degree, you're going to notice cutting through a sickle guy's block stance faster with a spear than you will with anything else by far.
Like blatantly
and two,
obvious.
the fact that they're all different weapons means you're going to remember what they all do. Like I know the move sets of all the different weapons because I know that the spear does this, this, and this. The Kusarigama does this, this, and this, and my sword does this, this, and this. It's not like, well, when his sword is above his head, I can do that move. But wait, maybe that's when his sword is below.
It's also hard to read a lot of times.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
And the variety in weapons is great because it means that the enemies can use those weapons too. So you're up against, you have, I think, 5 different weapons, melee weapons, once you get them all.
Yeah.
And the enemies have at least 6 because they have sickles and they have a couple other things. And the other thing I noticed going from that one area to the other area is going to the other area, they all fight different.
Yeah.
Like even the guys with this normal katanas. They're fighting different. They have different moves because they're from a different group. They're from a different, and obviously, unlike Jin, who is not wonderfully liked by his uncle for his actions in that, you are an active bounty target in this game.
You saw in the B-roll, you find your own sign of you, and they can't really draw you.
But they get better over time. Because like in the first game, as you leveled up, your legend grew and you became, you got the. In this, your legend is shown as growing by how much better the detail on the bounty poster is and how much higher.
They literally think you're like a demon.
Yeah, they think you're an Onryo, which is a vengeance ghost, which is the same kind of ghost as the ring girl. That's what they think you are. Or what's her name? There's a character in the New Killer Instinct. That's the same kind of Onryo.
Oh, I don't remember.
Himiko or something.
She
has a naginata and she's like a grappler character. It's been a very long time since I played that Killer Instinct game, but she's also the same kind of ghost. And and there is they do the same thing that they did in the first game where like sometimes there's like side quests and like the little storyteller tales where like, was it magic?
Right.
Was that person a ghost or a spirit? Maybe. They leave it very ambiguous, and that's exactly the way to do it. I love that.
I want to go back to the gameplay, though. I want to share sort of my impression.
But yeah, I think changing the stances into different weapons and you're kind of expanding that, it's a much more satisfying form of combat to me. And like it's all very cinematic. There's nothing wrong with Shadows combat, but this feels much more visceral. And it might just be the music. Yeah, like the music is
that makes a difference.
You almost get like this rock shamisen sort of almost like it's.
She also plays the shamisen. You learn how to play the shamisen throughout the course of the game.
Yeah, she's got her mother's shamisen with her all the time. Also, pro tip in real life: if you have a shamisen on your back, don't shoulder roll.
No, it will
like
shatter.
I think about that every time I do the shoulder or the roll evade in this. I'm like, okay, that shamisen's destroyed. I don't know what else to tell you, folks.
Well, here's how I look at the gameplay. You're right. Like I like it way better than Ghosts of Tsushima, without a doubt. But I think I shade a little bit more towards Shadows because it feels like the combat is more organic in Shadows. Like as you get good at Yotei, combat becomes almost like a means to an end, because as you learn, like, here comes a pole guy. Okay, I need to use my dual swords. Here's a sword guy. I need to use my katana. And you learn very quickly that, like, you can take out these enemies very easy just by switching to the weapon. In Shadows, it's like, that helps. There are certain weapons that work better against others, but it's still like a fight. Like, I felt like after I played this for like 6 or 7 hours, like, the combat didn't matter anymore. Because I'm like, oh, here's this guy, switch to this weapon, kill him in 2 hacks. And it turned into this thing where, like, and eventually they start throwing in, like, the mini bosses and the brutes in with, like, the rank and file guys. So then you got to start using your Odachi. But it's like you eventually learn, like, this weapon works on this guy, this weapon works on this guy. And it just turns into, like, almost like a process with each battle. Now, I like that still, but I do think that I like Shadows a little bit more in that regard. But they're both great.
See, I agree with everything you said except reverse it all.
Okay.
Everything you just said about Yotei, I say about Shadows.
Interesting.
I think Shadows is very by rote and very programmed and feels like I'm doing the same thing over and over.
I feel like I'm in actual
again.
Real fight in Shadows.
In
this, it's like, I'm using the right weapon, this fight's over.
I never feel like that in Shadows.
Really?
No, well, because... Like, I kind of see what you're saying, but the problem with Shadows is that the reason that it feels like a fight is because some of them are just immune to shit.
Yeah.
Like, you have to get that parry with Naue to be able to even damage their armor. Mm-hmm. It's sometimes not even worth it. I'll just run away and hide on a roof and jump down and assassinate them, and it'll take like half the time it would take to fight them by melee. With Yasuke, like, everyone's basically dead.
Yeah.
Like it's just... I don't know. It's probably because I've just played that game so much that I see the ins and outs more. And I don't think...
I played it for 60 hours.
I don't think the combat in the... Yeah, but you also didn't... You probably didn't go methodically through every single castle before doing any story missions.
I definitely did not.
And at a certain point, that all just... You start to see the strings.
Yeah.
And I'm doing somewhat similar on this, although it's hard to do that in this because you get so organically sucked into things that sometimes are main story things, sometimes are not.
Yeah.
This one... I just think the way the combat plays out in this is more fun because it feels looser. I
would just say in general, this game is more fun than Shadows, period.
Oh, yeah.
All the little
I'll
things
tell you
that
this,
it does different.
if Yasuke could do the standoff thing, it would be a harder choice for me.
I don't really care about the standoff.
I love
this. It seems like a gimmick to me.
No, I mean, it is a gimmick, but it's a gimmick that plays directly into the influences of this game.
I mean, I understand that.
Like that, like
it plays like the spaghetti western music.
Well, because you gotta understand that, like, what's his name? I'm blanking on the fucking most famous samurai guy's name. Who's gonna play Obi-Wan Kenobi? Begins with a K.
I don't know.
He's in all of Kurosawa's things.
All right.
I'm blanking on it.
It's okay.
The chat probably knows, but we're stuck on a pause.
Oh, we are.
It's not Kurosawa. It's the actor. It's in Yojimbo or Sanjo where it's the fast draw, like, showdown with the one guy, and they rig the blood thing to blast like it's. Some people think that's a mistake. It is not. It was intentional. Although you can see in the longer shot, there's a longer shot that's not in the movie. It's like the full shot. The guy who gets killed. At the end of it, he starts to laugh.
Oh, really?
It's so like the blood spout is
so
like a hose, and like you see him kind of go like that.
That's funny.
But it is whenever
Toshiro
Mifune. That's it. That's it. When you see in anime or video games like slicing somebody and their blood goes like that, that's that.
Yeah,
that comes from that scene.
Yeah.
And like that's what that. And I love the standoff in these games. Like the fact that you can just sort of stand. Sometimes I do that in stealth stuff because she's not as good at stealth as Jin was, or certainly not as good as Naue is. And sometimes I'll just like assassinate a guy, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, stand. Let's just do it. Let's just go. And I love
fun.
that. I love that option. I love that.
Generally, it is an option.
I love that she has Naue and Yasuke's abilities all wrapped up in one.
Mm-hmm.
I will always. Even going back to Donkey Kong 64, I will always prefer having all the abilities on one character without having to swap.
Yeah.
The other thing I appreciate is that if you put the right skills and gear on Jin, he could clear out like 6 people with his standoff. So far, I've only been able to kill 2 with a standoff with her, which feels more fair.
Yeah, because there's like a mechanic where you can like sort of transfer from like one enemy to another.
Yeah, you can you can do the standoff with one guy, and then one guy will charge you with a certain skill upgrade. One guy will charge you, and you can killing that way. I love this too. Like the distance kill with the Kasaragama is one of my favorite things all year in any video game. Period. I love that you can pick the weapons up and just throw them at people.
Yeah. So if you like knock someone's sword out of their hand, it'll sit there on the ground. You can pick it up with R1 and then throw it with square, and it's like an instant kill.
Yep.
And those are very handy in big battles.
And you can blind them with sake, and you have an upgrade that can let the wolf come in. If there's a chance the wolf will come in and help you.
Yeah.
There's other the wolf will come in and help you if you're almost killed. Sometimes if you upgrade that wolf track enough. Like there's so much happening, and I'm always I'm 30 hours in this game and it's still surprising me.
Me too. Yeah.
So like I gotta give it huge props for that.
Are you surprised at the aggregate score for this game? Somebody asked you who has it on their fantasy team. I do.
Yeah, Shane has it.
And I am surprised how low the aggregate review score for this is.
What is it?
It's like a little above an 8. Yeah, like an 8.5 or something like that now.
I don't know.
I also saw Shadows has come down way.
Shadows has come down. I mean, it's at least doing better than Tron Ares.
It's barely an 8. It's like a 7.9 for Shadows aggregate now. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I don't rate things on those scales.
Yeah.
But in the IGN world, like,
seems a little low.
I would put this in the 9 range.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of my favorite games of the generation.
Wow. I wouldn't go that far, but I am really enjoying
It's not a shoe-in for Game of the Year. There's been a few really good things this year.
There's more to come.
Is there?
Yeah, for sure.
What else?
I mean, Metroid Prime could end up being amazing. Like, you just don't know. I know. Believe I'm there more than you are. Believe me. I'm just saying, like, you just don't know yet. There could be other games that come along that make it even more complicated. So we'll see.
I'm trying to. I might just be forgetting some stuff in the schedule. But this Expedition 33, Split Fiction, like we've had some
doozies,
pretty massive bangers.
It's been a great year. It really has. And we still got 2 of the biggest months for releases left here. So definitely some opportunity for some other games to kind of creep into that discussion for sure.
Well,
the other thing I would say too is we already talked about the visuals a little bit. And I don't know if we've mentioned this on GameFace before, but it came out like 2 weeks ago that this game only cost $60 million to make.
I've been thinking about that too.
And as I've been playing it, I definitely have seen some kind of cut corners where they got it to the $60 million, but I also think that they don't matter. Like, for example, one thing that I noticed is like the rain comes through walls when it's raining, like
rain
sideways.
does come through walls a little bit once in a while. It ruins the cozy vibe.
Yeah, there's I saw cinematics where there's like boats in water, but the boats aren't reacting. The water isn't reacting to the boats, and they're just kind of like just skimming along the top of like there's little stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm just wondering, Matt, like, is it worth it to spend $200 million to fix that stuff?
Of course not.
It's not. Like, I think we need to come back down to earth here. This is plenty good enough.
This should be the blueprint.
Seriously,
going forward.
You can for Sony.
You can have your like $200 million Last of Us 3,
like
if you
want.
Like,
game,
you
get every 10 years.
You know, pick your boutique battle basically. But there's no reason all your first party output shouldn't be on this level of quality. Yeah. If you can put it on this level of quality, even if you need to have Sucker Punch consult for every single other studio in the stable,
send them.
Like, this is beyond good enough.
Yes.
And even if you the boat doesn't go up and down in the water so much, and like look at everything else it does.
Yeah,
look at all this. I saw.
My point is,
I saw people comparing.
That's what takes the time.
Right, but
that's little details.
But stop making your games for these weirdos online who like compare puddles and shit.
I agree.
Or like, what was the thing with I saw someone comparing walking on ice between this and Red Dead Redemption 2. And she just sort of walks along the ice, and of course Arthur sort of like, balances and kind of like, I'm like, okay, first off, she's a trained warrior, and Arthur is like a drunk idiot. Like in boots. Like you can't walk on, she's walking around in footwear that's basically built for the terrain. And do I want her to slip on ice? Not really. Like, that doesn't add anything to this game.
Yeah, I agree. So I do think they found the happy medium here with this. Although it's more than happy medium. Like, it's better than that. But
there is not a single thing Tsushima does that this game does that doesn't do it better.
I agree.
Like,
I like this game so... I never finished Ghost of Tsushima. I got bored with it after a while.
I finished Tsushima twice. I like it a lot.
I'm going to finish.
But this is better in every way.
Yeah. Better in every way. And I generally find it more entertaining than Assassin's Creed Shadows, generally.
Same.
Like, just as far as time spent and... And
again, in service of the modern discourse, I'm not slagging Tsushima when I say that.
Yeah.
Tsushima is still one of my favorite games on the PlayStation 4, PlayStation, whatever you want to consider it for.
Yeah.
This is just better because Sucker Punch went back, took every criticism, probably of their own and of everyone else into consideration, really looked at it, took 5 years and a reasonable budget, and came back with one of the best open world games I've ever played.
The open world design in this is definitely different than other games.
Yeah, do not dismiss this as Ubisoft.
It's not just another random open world game.
This is I would go so far as to say that they have finally, they started it. I would consider Tsushima kind of a prototype in that regard. But in this game, they have finally achieved the goal of a different way to do open world.
Yeah, I agree.
That breaks completely from the Ubisoft model. Because everyone uses the Ubisoft model because it was so successful for a while.
It's different. There's no doubt about it. And it's good to see developers finding something
and
different
little thing,
all this time later.
And again, everything is better. Like, the bird that leads you to things are less annoying to follow. Right. They don't get stuck on stuff. They lead you to the thing you need to climb. They don't just go into the mountain. You're supposed to be on top. You got to be on top of this mountain. Go fuck yourself. Go find a handhold, asshole. It's like, no, they take you to where you need to go.
Yeah.
The wind is easier to read when it's showing you where to go.
I always know immediately instead of being like, wait a minute, which way's that blowing?
It's like every single little thing is improved.
Yeah.
It is exactly what a sequel should be. That's why I call it a sequel, even though it's not narratively related to the. They could still do Ghost of Tsushima 2 about Jin doing whatever he does after that game is over. But this is 100%. You've taken that first game and you've improved on everything. It's exactly what a sequel's supposed to be. It's exactly what a sequel used to be.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
You're right. We still haven't gone over all the upgrades and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there are tons and tons of skill trees.
There's so much
separate skill tree just for the wolf and it's really in depth, really deep, but it's all presented in a way. And again, I know you didn't use it, but that wolf screen. That Wolfpack screen really helps you make sense and saves you from wasting so much time.
No, it's certain. And the other thing about the Wolfpack screen is it's going to be super useful if you come back to the game after 3 months.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about it in a little bit.
And you don't remember where everything is, and you're like, wait, what is that map?
I just did that with Hades 2.
Yeah,
and we're going to talk about that in a little bit because it's Hades 2 came out technically a year
early
ago.
access.
I kind of finished the game back then, but I didn't. And so now, I'm really far into the game, and I started playing it again. I'm like, what am I doing? I had completely forgotten, everything. But anyway, we'll talk about Hades 2 in a little bit. But bottom line, that's 2 thumbs up from us.
Huge.
Here on GameFace. We both really enjoyed it. I'm probably, 25 hours into it, something like that. I've killed 4 of the Yotei 6 at this point.
I'm about 30 hours in. I've killed 1 of
you aren't even trying
the first guy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty close on a couple of them, but I hit a point on the first one on Oni where I was like, you know what? I want all the weapons before I go in on this.
Yeah.
So I went around going to find the masters to teach me the other weapons, and I did. And of course, doing that sucked me into 15 hours of other shit.
That's what this game
because
does.
that's what the game does. That's
absolutely. And it's not. You don't regret it.
No,
when you're done, you're
it's
that
delightful.
Was fun.
It's completely delightful the whole time.
Other open world games, you get done with a 5-hour session of playing, and you sit down and you're like, I wasted an hour and a half doing nothing.
Well, and because
not with this game.
Well, because the setting and the people there are so compelling, and she does. It's an interesting reversal of the first game because in the first game he is basically the prince of the area. Yeah, everyone knows who he is. They all pay deference to him, and it's the story of someone who is basically as inside as you can get, becoming an outsider in his own land. And this, because she's coming back after 16 years, she's the outsider to her own land already, and it's about her because when she comes back at the very beginning, the plan is to kill the 6 of them and then die.
Right.
She's
she says,
my whole life is just vengeance.
I will kill myself after.
And the story of the game is very much about her rediscovering what it means to be a human being, to not be an outsider anymore. And the land is the people of the land, the ones that understand who she is or why, because everyone's lost something because of the Yotei 6. So everybody sort of understands where she's coming from to some degree, and you see
they start to side with her.
Yeah, for the first time in 16 years, she's with people who understand what they've lost similar things to her, and she's sort of
because they've been living with the Yotei 6 for 16 years.
Yeah,
she took off.
They
stayed,
and she's seeing a way that these people have lived even in the middle of that, and you see it slowly. She's no longer, and she's going from outsider to
she becomes
to a person there
eventually.
And it's an interesting reversal of the journey that Jin took. And again, another reason I say it's a valid sequel is because it is dealing with many of the same themes, many of the same ideas.
Yeah.
It's just doing it in a different way, which more sequels should do.
Yeah.
You don't have to just retread the whole thing. You can take the ideas and turn them on their head and come at them from a different way. And I know everyone's afraid to do that because The Last Jedi did that and everybody lost their fucking mind. But, like, that's what good sequels do. That's what Empire Strikes Back did.
Yeah.
My dad hated Empire Strikes Back because it introduced a green hippie Muppet that made the Force into, like, basically Woodstock. Right? Buddhist Zen shit.
Right.
He didn't like that.
Oh. What did he want it to be?
He wanted it to be the action swashbuckling adventure the first movie and Return of the Jedi ended up being. And as a kid, I didn't like Return of the Jedi as much because it was more of a brainless adventure.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And so I like Yoda.
Empire Strikes Back is maybe the best sequel ever.
Empire. Oh no, definitely. It's either Empire or Godfather 2.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
Those would be my picks.
Yep. Well, let's check in with you guys. I'm sure some of you guys have been playing this. This is, like, again, one of only 2 big PlayStation exclusives this entire year, which is just insane. Defloyd over on YouTube says, amazing year for video games. It really is, man. Mm-hmm. Chill Robot says, I'm 30 hours in, and Matt is spot on. Zen Shuriken says, hey, Dad, what's wrong with Zen?
Yeah.
Look at his name.
He was not into that.
Yeah.
In case you couldn't pick up on that.
Yeah. Rosencrantz says they were smart in skipping 2 in the title. Well, I mean, there's no carryover characters at all. Like,
no, but I mean, you could have called it that. I mean, it makes more sense to name it after the location you're in.
Yeah. Emperor Dread says, I tapped out of Tsushima about 90% through. Yeah, I didn't make it even that far, actually. I think I made it to like 60 or 70% before I bailed. This game, to me, is way different than Ghost of Tsushima. This is just way more interesting, fun. The people you run into are quirky, and like you want to get to know them. You want to know their backstory. I felt a lot of Ghost of Tsushima was kind of like what we were saying earlier about Shadows. A little more stodgy.
I think it is because you're dealing with basically dealing with nobility.
Yeah.
You know, Jin is basically the prince of the area, and a lot of the people he interacts with as allies are people who knew him in that capacity and still treat him as that.
Yeah.
The only person who he interacts with as a human being is I can't remember her name, but it's the thief that he hooks up that saves his life at the very beginning of the game, and kind of implies that there should be a love interest thing there, but it's like we cannot ever be together because I am the shogun's or the daimyo's like
son,
nephew, and now and then at the end it's just like, well, now I'm the ghost, so I got to go do ghost things. But
Nightwing 3060 says, how was the lo-fi hip hop music in the game? I actually never tried that. Did you?
No, I didn't. I looked at it at the intro, but I didn't like how that sounded.
Rosencrantz, thank you for subscribing, and he also tosses in there that Yotei is his favorite game of 2025 so far.
It's certainly a candidate.
Ruthina77, how does Sucker Punch make combat so fun to play?
I don't know. That's always been their thing. Huh?
I never really liked it though. In what was their franchise?
Infamous.
Yeah, I never really liked it in Infamous.
I liked it.
I thought the combat was clunky in that franchise.
I think it was pretty clunky in the first one.
Yeah.
The second one, I think they pretty much nailed it. And the third one, Second Son, I did not like the power sets very much. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like that the combat was clunky. I just didn't think neon and concrete were interesting choices for power set. I didn't like doing any of the things the character could do.
But in Tsushima and this, great.
Tsushima and this, I mean, Sly Cooper. Like Sly Cooper had great combat for a PS2 era platformer. Mm-hmm. Rocket Robot on Wheels had great combat for a N64 platformer. Like there wasn't much happening there, but they've always known how to make hitting something feel good.
Yeah, I'd agree.
As a matter of fact, even in Infamous, the most satisfying way to kill something is to hit it with that tuning fork thing.
Right.
Right.
That's true. God of Gamblers 33 says they need to expand Sucker Punch so that they release more games per generation. Give them more people.
I understand that instinct, but also that can ruin.
Up.
Yeah, it can screw up the secret sauce.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so much of why Sucker Punch's games are what they are, I think, is how much closely Nate Fox can supervise them and make them because I don't think it's a coincidence that they all, like, you can tell when you're playing a Sucker Punch. I mean, to me anyway, for whatever reason, Sucker Punch has always made stuff that resonates with me. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if you could put a game I didn't know was Sucker Punch in my hands, and I know it in 20 minutes. And that has to be somewhat due to the people who run the thing and have run the thing the whole time, and Nick Fox has been there the whole time.
Yeah.
And like, I feel if you'd end up with the Marvel situation where you suddenly, okay, now you got to make 10 Marvel TV shows a year, and Kevin Feige doesn't have time to supervise everything, and he stops watching the rough cuts of stuff and giving feedback, and it all unravels.
Yep.
So you got to be careful for what you that's a monkey. That's a monkey's paw right there. You got to be careful.
Noxator Nidus says, I wish Ghost and Shadows were combined. I like certain parts of each. I'd agree with that.
It would be very interesting to see like a synthesis of those two games.
Yeah. Noxator Nidus also says it's arcade versus RPG combat. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't describe either one as RPG combat.
No. Anything else? As always, go at Sifted Games if you want us to actually read your comment and comment on it. Threadzilla says Terminator 2 would also be in the running, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Terminator 2 and Aliens are good. Born Supremacy, I think, is one of the worst sequels ever made.
Really?
Paul Greengrass's shaky cam shit is one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Ruthina77 likes it.
That car chase at the end of that is one of the worst edited car chases in the history of cinema, and it ruined action films for like 6 years because everyone was trying to do that shaky cam thing.
JM Rain says, I can't wait to jump in, but there are so many games that just came out and that are gonna come out. We're gonna review Battlefield 6 next week. Like it's gonna just keep on going.
The good news is if you just kind of don't get around to Yotei, maybe you can just get it on PC in a year.
That's true. And then Noxator Nidus follows up by saying the opening 5 hours have been a little too talky for me, but otherwise I love everything about it.
I will also for free tell you that when this comes out on PC, I will buy it again and play it again. Like no question.
Yeah. So there you go. That's 2 thumbs up for Ghost of Yotei from GameFace right here on Sifted Games at sifted.net. Do you recommend it for people who already spent 70 hours playing Shadows this year? Yeah.
This game
didn't keep me from playing.
This game makes me forget I spent 80 hours playing Shadows.
Yeah.
Like it's just not. It's simply not the same thing.
I would say, again, I'm like almost 30 hours into this now, and there's a little fatigue starting to set in, but not really. Like, I've played 30 hours of it already, so whatever. Yeah. So anyway, there you go. That's Ghost of Yotei. We're about to talk about the insane price increases of Game Pass by Microsoft and the future of Xbox hardware. But before we do that, here's a word from our sponsor, the Repair app.
Cracked phone screen, stuck zipper, busted bike, borked HDMI port, persnickety PlayStation? Don't toss it, boss it with the Repair app. The mission is to build a world where repair is the norm, not the exception. Snap a pic, describe the issue, and find local pros ready to fix it fast. It's not a marketplace, it's a movement that saves your stuff, your sanity, and the planet. No fees, no credit cards, no data collection, no stress. Just fast and fabulous fixes. Track your items and the repairs, log warranties, build a repair history, and become the hero your stuff deserves. Fight landfill guilt, save some cash, and support local business all at the same time. And best of all, it's free. Join the Repair app waiting list today at therepair.app and be among the first to get access. Fix it, keep it, repeat, because trash is so last century.
So we had a couple people after last week when I talked about how you need to make sure that you click the email to confirm that you gave the Repair app your email. A couple people in the comments of GameFace had said, hey, I actually signed up and never got the email that I needed to click to confirm my account. As it turns out, they did get the emails. They were in their spam folders. So if you're one of those people who signed up for the Repair app at therepair.app and you're like, wait a minute, I never got the email for confirmation, check in your spam folder. It's probably in there. And again, make sure you do that because if you don't, they can't send you the notification when the Repair app launches. And again, it's coming up here in like a week. So probably in next week's episode of GameFace, the sponsorship ad will probably have changed and we'll start pushing you guys towards actually using the Repair app. Yes. Instead of just signing up for it. So this is basically your last week to sign up early, and you'll get alerted right away when the app does go live, because I'll say this too, they did not know exactly the day when it's going live. So if you go to the repair.app, give them your email address, they will alert you the minute the app goes live, and you can start getting your stuff repaired. If you've been listening to me for the last couple months talk about this, hopefully you got a bunch of stuff, you got a little pile of stuff ready to be repaired. Make sure you sign up at the repair.app, you'll get that alert, and you can start getting your stuff fixed instead of throwing it into a landfill. All right. Let's talk about probably the biggest story of the week.
I'll give you 2 more sequels.
Okay.
Spider-Man 2 and X-Men 2.
Yep.
I don't think those movies hold up very well now, but they are absolutely better than the first ones.
Agreed. Yeah, and you're right. Most films, the second movie is not better.
Not usually.
Than the first.
Also, my hot sequel take. I think Blade Runner 2049 is better than Blade Runner.
Ooh.
I love Blade Runner.
That is a hot take.
I love Blade Runner.
That's a sizzling
but
take.
2049 knows what it's about in a way that the Blade Runner 1 does not.
It's good. I like both of them.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I haven't watched the original Blade Runner in probably 8 years at this point. It's been a while.
Have you seen the final cut?
No.
Watch the final cut.
Is it better?
I think it's the best version.
Okay.
There's 4 versions of it. It's the best version except for one line where if you know when Rutger Hauer kills Tyrell and says, "I want more life."
Yeah.
And in the original cut, several of the original cuts, he says, "I want." The way he says it, he might say, "I want more life, father," and he might say, "I want more life, fucker." Like Hauer intentionally garbles that so it could be either one.
Oh.
In Final Cut, the line read is very clearly father, and I think that lessens that moment.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But otherwise, I think Final Cut is the definitive Blade Runner.
I'll remember that when I go to watch. All right, let's move on. We're going to talk next about the Game Pass price increases. Undoubtedly, the biggest story of the week. Everybody's freaking out about it. In fact, that episode, I am sure that episode of Pachter Factor that we published yesterday went big because of this. This is something that everybody's talking about because we were pissed off when Game Pass Ultimate went to $20. We thought that was unwarranted. We thought it was stupid because at that time, Microsoft was struggling to add new subscribers. It's basically been stuck at roughly 30 million Game Pass subscribers for 4 years now. And so back, what was that, 8 months ago when they upped it to 20? It wasn't even a year ago.
Yeah, it was less. Yeah.
It's less than we've had 2 price increases for Game Pass in 12 months, and the last one we were like, no, you got to stop right there because you are now on the fringe of making it no longer worth it.
That's the point where people start to consider the ad tier of the streaming service.
Except there isn't yet. Although we'll get to that in a minute. So instead of listening to podcasts like ours and pretty much any sane person in the world telling them you need to stop with the price increases, Microsoft said F you, and not only are we going to increase the price again, we're going to increase it by 50% to $30 a month. Matt, that is $360 a year.
The Xbox $360.
That is 5 or 6 full-price video games.
Well, not anymore.
Well, even at 70, it's 5.
It's 4 at 80.
Yeah. So it's at least 5 games. How many people do you know, Matt, that buy 5 video games at full price a year?
I mean, outside of this room, not many.
Not many, man. And so what is Microsoft thinking?
I mean, other than $10, $15, $20 indie stuff.
That's what I said. Who buys 5 or 6 full-priced games a year besides us and the people who are in our chat right now? I mean, seriously, there just aren't many.
Yeah. I mean, I got to say, this is a breaking point for me. Even as someone who can afford it, I will keep it next month because it starts next month in November. If you're already a subscriber, it's already active if you haven't subscribed yet.
Yeah.
But if you're, so I'm gonna keep it next month so I can play Call of Duty without buying Call of Duty. After that, I think I'm gonna cancel it because if I'm paying that much money a year, I'd rather own the games.
Right. It's not. It's got to the place where it's not worth it. It's not a good deal anymore.
Yeah. One of the reasons Game Pass worked for so long is it was just cheap enough that you didn't really think about it.
Yeah.
And then it was a nice kind of pleasant surprise that I can get that right now and I don't have to pay anything more than I'm already paying. That's nice. Yeah. And this, I don't do that often enough with Game Pass games to warrant paying that much all year and then be like, oh, and I actually don't own these, and now because I am starting to notice the non-first party stuff go away, and I can't go back and finish
it. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's kind of annoying.
No, it sucks.
So now I think maybe I just want to own Eternal Strands instead.
I mean, if everyone's on Game Pass, there's no such thing as a backlog.
Yeah.
You can't go back and complete your backlog if you're only using Game Pass.
Yeah, I never got around to playing Little Kitty Big City.
Right. And now it's gone.
Now
and it'll never come back. Buy it. And now are you going to buy it? No.
Well, I did.
You did buy it.
It was on sale for $12.
Oh, okay.
I got it. But again, more and more, it's except for the Microsoft in-house stuff, it is temporary. And in all honesty, I'm probably fine paying money for the Microsoft in-house stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I bought Indiana
'Cause you
Jones.
save money.
I bought Avowed to support Obsidian. I would 100% buy Forza Horizon 6. Like what am I doing this for now?
Is Xbox going to put out 5 or 6 exclusives a year that you would be willing to pay full price for? Probably not.
No,
For most people, definitely not.
They might one year,
Right.
and then you'll never see it again. Because
the way
I think a bunch of stuff will converge on one deadline,
Year, yeah.
and then that won't happen again.
No, I agree. Let's go through these plans very quickly so you guys have a groundwork to work from as far as our discussion. So Game Pass Essential, which is $9.99 per month, it is replacing what they called Core before. No price increase. It was $10 before. It's $10 now. You get 50 games that you can play. But who knows what those 50 games are? Microsoft is just choosing them. Like, you don't know if they're going to be games you actually want to play. Maybe that 1 month it's going to be all farming sims. Like, you just don't know. You can play.
There are enough farming sims for that to be
seriously
true now. Huh?
You can play it on PC, console, or the cloud. You have unlimited cloud gaming for $10 a month. So that's not quite the $5 streaming tier that Packer's been calling for all this time to grow Game Pass. But for $10, you can stream games as much as you want. You get in-game benefits still. Like, you'll get the cosmetics for free-to-play games that you've been getting on Game Pass all along. That's included. You get online multiplayer, which you used to have to pay $5 a month for. Plus, you get 3 games a month for free. They got rid of the 3 free games. They don't give those away anymore. So now you're paying $10 if you just want to play online, and then you get some streaming stuff on Game Pass. That's not a good deal to me. Premium, which is now $15 a month, is replacing what used to be called Standard. No price increase for this tier either. 200 games, playable on PC, console, and the cloud. You get Xbox published games within a year of launch, but that excludes Call of Duty, which is the one game that would bring people to the service.
And the reason they raised the price last time.
Right, and we'll get to that in a minute.
That was right before
Call of Duty. And at this time, too, we'll get to that in a minute as well. That gives you unlimited cloud gaming with shorter wait times. Why should there be any wait time, Matt?
For cloud gaming?
If you're giving them $15 a month, there should never be a wait time.
Well, why would there be wait time on the cloud anyway?
Because they just want to control the traffic. They want to make sure they're unlimited subscribers who are paying $30 a month.
It's almost like the streaming thing is stupid.
Almost.
It's never going to replace real games. Yeah. I'm sorry, people. It's not. It never will beat having an actual local install. Yeah. Ever.
So you get the in-game benefits there as well for the free-to-play games. You get online multiplayer again. And then you get, here's the thing that they've been dangling in front of people with these price changes. These weird, store reward credits for the Microsoft Store. If you go up in tiers, you have the ability to, earn, more. Does anybody use that program? Do you use it?
No. I've
never even looked at it.
I mean, I have. It sends me the messages about the points or whatever, but I don't think
every
I've
month,
ever...
you have these points. And I go and look, and I'm like, I can get a hat in some game I don't play. It's pointless, but they've been pushing that. And then you can earn up to $50 a year in store rewards on that tier.
If I could put it towards future Game Pass subscriptions, maybe I would actually do that.
You're right, actually. And then the final tier is Game Pass Ultimate. They never changed the name of it at all, so they're keeping it that way. That's where the price increased 50% from $19.99 per month to $30 per month. That gives you over 400 games, playable on PC, console, and cloud. They're guaranteeing you will get 75 day one games a year. Matt, do you think that there has ever been 75 day one games in a year at Game Pass so far?
Yeah.
Really?
But a lot of them are just things you wouldn't play.
Really? You think there's 75 a year?
I think so, yeah.
Huh. That seemed like a lot.
You know how many games come out every week?
Yeah, a lot.
I'm talking. I mean, some of those are hidden picture things you would you would barely consider games.
Okay.
You can easily get to 75. You're counting literally everything.
Yeah. And then the thing that Microsoft is
talking about something we would cover on this show. You're probably talking about 15.
Right. Yeah.
But those are two different things.
It is. You're right. Technically. And then the thing that Microsoft is trying to dangle in front of people to get them to want to be okay with this $10 charge.
That is not how we play now.
No, it's not.
You shut up.
Is Ubisoft Plus Classics have been added to Game Pass. You can play Ubisoft's old games.
Wow.
That's their big value add. To go from $20 a month to $30 a month. And it still includes EA Play. And then they're also tossing in something called Fortnite Crew, which... Okay, if you play Fortnite, are you going to spend an extra $30 a month when you're playing Fortnite for free?
Yeah. I don't know. As chat points out, the PC only subscription is still like $16.50.
Well, it went from $11 to $16 with no changes at all.
But like that might be where I go. I might just kill the Xbox stuff entirely for the console stuff and just go PC.
Well, I'll go through the PC stuff just very quickly. You get the in-game benefits for free-to-play games as always. You get online multiplayer. You can earn up to 100 points a year with that, just like you can with premium or whatever. But that's still a 40% price increase from $11.99 to $16.49 per month. And it basically gives you all the same features you had before. So they're just increasing the price there.
Yeah, but at least that's like a much more minor expense.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Actually, going forward, you may get all the day one games still.
Yeah, no, you do.
Because they're turning them all to PC games now instead of being Xbox games.
Yeah, they're all Xbox Anywhere now. So that would get me everything. Really, what this does is guarantees I will not buy an Xbox again.
Right. So that's the big question.
That's it. Why would I ever need an Xbox now?
So here's the big question is why?
Yeah.
Why is this happening?
Well, I don't know. Didn't they just say last week it was profitable?
Right.
So
Sarah Bond just last week said that Game Pass was profitable. Now, she didn't say if that includes the $69 billion they spent on Activision Blizzard, if it includes any of the other acquisitions, if it includes the cost of development.
Profitable would mean that they are taking in more money than they are spending yearly, which may or may not include the nest egg they had to use to get it off the ground. Right?
I would guarantee it probably does not.
Probably not.
I would say they're probably looking at how much do we pay in server costs? How much do we pay to the publishers to get the content on the service? How much are we making? And I think that's where they're figuring out whether they're profitable or not. Jenna, you are in a deep $69 billion. That's 69,000 millions. For people who don't know what a billion is. Like a billion is 1,000 millions, and they spent $69 billion. They are in the biggest hole ever. So it's disingenuous, I think, to say that it's profitable when you had to spend that kind of an outlay to get 30 million people to subscribe to your service. Like,
I mean, was it if you picked up $1 a second and never rested and never did anything else, it would take you 33 years to pick up $1 billion. Now do that 68 more times. Yeah. That's how much $1 billion.
That's how in the whole Microsoft is on Game Pass at this point.
But then, like, the question becomes, like, what did you think was going to happen?
That's my question. Why did you do this? Like, is it really just it wasn't profitable and now you need it to be profitable?
I mean, I think the reason Game Pass happened, I think, is they had no better ideas to compete with Sony.
Like initially.
Yeah. And I think it really feels like when you make a dumb bet in poker. Like when you're like, I'm so far in on this that I don't want to back down, even though I should back down, and now I'm all in, and I've got like unsuited 6 king, and you're like, what am I doing at this point? But like you've gone too far.
It off.
You've gone too, now here you are.
Yeah, but again, I can't understand why. Is Microsoft trying to kill Game Pass? Is it trying? Is it looking for an exit door here to kill it and maybe?
Well, I mean, why not just kill it then?
Because to save face, like you said, like a poker game where you're just like, what? I'm going to bluff this.
They don't have a face anymore. Yeah. It's over. Like you just got your fucking systems pulled from half the big box stores in the country. Like what do you do? Like what does this do? All this did was make huge negative publicity for them. Like it's the opposite of saving face, and they knew that would happen. Like, what's the point?
Like, why did they put out 10 trailers for Game Pass the day that they announced it, trying to soften the blow?
What's your end game here?
That's what I'm asking. What does it want to happen? Does it want Game Pass to die and go away so it can go back to the old model and save face? I
mean, that sounds like nonsense conspiracy shit.
It does. I agree.
Because they know, but I don't know. Like,
That's
like
what I'm saying.
you gotta
what else could it be?
unless you know exactly how dumb the people running this are. It's like hard to say what's happening here.
I mean, are they trying to go back? Are they trying to just become a third-party publisher like EA or Ubisoft?
But they reiterated again yesterday that's not.
Right,
no, we're totally selling more consoles. We're gonna make more consoles. We're gonna. But why?
How could you do that with this? It's like. How can you rationalize selling a console if this is your business plan?
Or even with this right after raising the prices on the existing consoles. Like, so you want people to pay $150, $200 more for the consoles, and then you want to charge them more for the main service that lets them play online? Like
Packers didn't think they're getting their shelf space back, by the way. He seems to think that, like, even if they come out with a new console, these places have cut bait and they are not going to sell an Xbox console again.
I mean, that feels correct to me. Like, I don't know why, I don't know investment way he does, but I do know retail.
Yeah.
And why would you ever risk that shelf space on that again?
Yeah.
Or the overhead of just getting that product in stock?
So,
like, it doesn't make any sense. It's already a proven loser.
Microsoft has to know this. So if it does know this, what is its goal?
I don't know.
It's baffling. It's mind-boggling.
Because if you want to pivot to something totally different, just do that.
Just do it.
Why piss everybody off like this?
I mean, to be fair, maybe a lot of it is them trying to soften the blow from their fans. Like, their fans are freaking out.
I don't think anybody gives a shit about that.
There are still Xbox fans.
I'm sure No, I mean from Microsoft. Microsoft doesn't give a shit about
our comments on that Pachter episode proves there are tons of Xbox fans still.
I didn't say there was no Xbox fans. I'm saying Microsoft doesn't give a shit about that.
Maybe.
Who cares? What I'm saying is, like, if you want to pivot, just pivot. Just do that. Like, why not? Like, the only thing I could think is maybe the only thing that, like, even slightly tracks to me is that there's, like, some kind of corporate infighting over this. And so the only route left to do was to go ahead and do this to prove to the higher-ups that refuse to let this go that this isn't going to work. That's the only thing I can think of, and I have no evidence or proof of that. Yeah. I don't know who's in charge of what or who would believe what or who would think that in Microsoft's hierarchy. But the only thing I can think of is that some higher-up people are forcing this to continue because they saw a line go up on sheet and do not understand the reality of the market.
Or the higher-ups are saying, okay, you think Game Pass is so valuable and people love it so much, how about we set the price where we actually turn a profit on it and just see how much people love it?
Yeah, that could
knowing
be too.
that maybe that kills Game Pass, and that's okay, because let's be honest, at this point, Xbox has the best stable of first-party studios.
Yeah, that could flip around. Like, the higher-ups could not believe in it and be like, okay, like, put it to the test, and if it doesn't work, at least we get to start over.
Yeah. And we're starting over in a good place because we have all these awesome studios.
And no one can blame us because we said it wasn't going to work in the first. I mean, yeah, that could happen too. It could be either polar opposite of those things.
No,
because otherwise, there's no middle here. There's no conservative strategy here in terms of what they're doing. Like, there's no one's hedging any bets on this, and I don't know why.
And it knew this was going to happen. So the day that they announced all this stuff, the web page where you go to cancel Game Pass crashed. Wario 64 noticed it. Now, we don't know if it crashed because so many people were going there to cancel their subscriptions, or if Microsoft made it look like it crashed to keep people from canceling, hoping that they will cool off in 24 hours and not go back and cancel the next day.
I think it probably is the latter.
You think it's just really people
canceling? Legitimately, I think same way that Disney Plus's cancellation screen crashed before. I mean,
now if that happened,
people can't afford this shit.
I know.
Come on.
Now if that happened,
like, I read that announcement 3 times to convince my brain to believe it.
I know, me too. I thought the news was fake, so I waited until more. So the news came through in our back end on Sifted. I'm like, I'm not curating this shit.
Yeah.
Because I think it may be fake.
I didn't believe it until I saw Wario 64 say it.
I waited until 4 more outlets published it, and I'm like, it's real. Yeah. And I published the first one that actually published a story so that they got the love for publishing it first. But yeah, it's like, if Microsoft saw all these people coming and crashing their website, canceling, why wouldn't they just go back on it right away? Like, because literally the next day.
Something about this is locked in for some reason.
You spoke, we listened. We're Xbox.
I was honestly expecting that. I was like, maybe in a couple days we'll get some kind of backtrack on it.
And it didn't happen.
Nothing.
This is nuts, man. And look,
something is mandating this.
Something's going on,
and we don't know what.
Yep. And again, look, we are definitely spreading conspiracy theories right now. What Matt and I have said may be the reason this is happening. We don't know. We've kind of made it up because we don't have data. Yeah. There's no data from Xbox or Game Pass. It's
pure speculation. I have no insight on what is actually happening here, because it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it doesn't make any sense in the way of, like, if you really need to do this to make Game Pass succeed or survive, there's got to be better ways to mitigate this.
Yeah.
Just spend less on developer, like buying in exclusive. I mean, I don't know what else to tell. Like, cut your costs on your end before you start passing it on to the consumer. And maybe they already have. Maybe we don't know that. Maybe this is last ditch, last resort. But it really does feel more like something like what we're talking about, where, like, we are forcing Game Pass into its final form to see whether it sinks or swims here.
Call of Duty is definitely a big pivot point in this.
Do you think that they see the revenue from the PlayStation version and are like, we like that more?
So it was reported this week, according to Bloomberg, that Microsoft lost. So last year, Black Ops 6 was the first Call of Duty to be released day and date on Game Pass. So obviously a huge litmus test to see what's going to happen. Bloomberg is reporting that Microsoft says it lost $300 million on Black Ops 6 because it was on Game Pass. That seems like a big number. But is it?
As in, like, they're counting everyone who
would have
played
bought
it on
it
Game
before,
Pass as someone who would have spent $70 on it?
They didn't get into the math.
Because I'll spoiler, I played it on
You
Game
wouldn't
Pass.
have bought it.
I would not have given you money for that if it wasn't on Game Pass.
So it probably
like,
is
I
a
was
little
not
less-
a lost sale
Yeah.
in any respect.
I think there's a lot of people like you.
Yeah.
So it's not really $300 million, but they lost $150 million.
But
maybe.
it's also you can't know
Right.
the other metric, so you have to kind of go by
Right.
that metric. But
Yep.
running a business.
Well, here's the thing, though. So Call of Duty has been the big sort of linchpin in this. So they cut the 10% discount for buying Call of Duty points that hardcore Call of Duty fans actually really like and appreciate. They cut Call of Duty out of all the plans for day one games. So that's it's obvious. One thing's obvious here. Call of Duty is a point of pain for Microsoft. It is not happy with how this is playing out with having this juggernaut behind a $30 a month paywall. And so it's basically exempting Call of Duty from all of that stuff. Like, you're not going to be able to get Call of Duty day one anymore on Game Pass.
So Black Ops 7 will not be day one.
No, it looks like it's not. So
I should cancel it in November.
yeah, maybe. Here's my point. Like, at first when I got Game Pass, I did sample a lot. Like, I would go and play indie games I normally wouldn't play or whatever, just because I'm like, oh, it's this cool new thing, and look, I can play this game I never would have paid a penny for before, and now I can try it out. As time has gone on, I have kind of stopped doing that. Like, if I go back and actually look at the Game Pass games that I have played over the last probably 18 months, they've pretty much only been the Xbox first-party exclusives, like Indiana Jones and Doom.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I played Eternal Strands.
I played that.
But yeah, I mean, most of it, like, South of Midnight.
But I could have bought Eternal Strands and saved money versus Game Pass.
It isn't really paying for itself
It's
anymore.
not anymore. And so you say you're canceling.
Especially considering I bought Avowed.
Right.
Because I wanted to support
support
Obsidian.
Yeah. So you're saying you're canceling. I'm teetering right now. I'm like, I have to really look at it. And
I'm canceling.
Right.
Like, I don't even really need multiplayer on
Right.
Xbox anymore. Like, when was the last? I mean, I don't even remember the last time I turned the fucking Xbox on.
Right.
You remember when I turned it on to do something a few months ago, and the last time it had been on was August 29th.
Yeah.
On New Zealand, because it was still on New Zealand time from when I turned it on August 29th last year to play Outlaws early.
Yeah.
I hadn't turned it on in like 8 months.
I mean, there's no reason for you to have Game Pass on your PC, but
yeah, but like,
but are you using it anymore?
Yeah, I still do.
Do
But
you?
I mean, something just left that I was like, oh, I was playing. Okay,
Gone.
It's gone.
You'll never finish that game now.
Maybe not. Well, actually, I tried to, because I think Eternal Strand said something about leaving soon, and so I'm like, oh, I better go finish. And I load up, and I could not remember what the hell I was like, oh, I'd have to start this over. Never mind.
Not happening.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the way it is, right?
Yeah, that's how they get you.
So I'm teetering right now.
Everything
I'm
needs the Wolfpack screen.
Yeah, I'm like, do I need this for my job anymore? Do I need Game Pass anymore? I'm not sure. I have to figure it out. But I'm on the fence. It's, to me, if I were a consumer, I would absolutely not subscribe to Game Pass anymore. No way.
And actually, I was just about to say, well, the one thing is I wouldn't have played Gears of War remastered
Reloaded
without it. But then I remembered that it just gave that to me for free because
you
I already
had
had the original,
Yeah.
the last remaster, basically.
The only games I've been playing are first-party Microsoft games. I've kind of pretty much bailed on like trying out the little indie stuff.
And like,
on
I'm
there.
gonna be fine paying money for Fable and paying money for Forza
You'll
Horizon
save money.
6. Yeah,
You will save money now.
And I'll get to, and I'm obviously the first part. Well, I don't know, first party Microsoft stuff you used to consider safe,
Right.
But now if Black Ops 7 is leaving and they get mixed money, well, maybe we don't put Fable on that day one and
Yeah, it could start to get a little dicey.
Yeah.
Once you've done that,
once you get addicted to the revenue stream of what it was like to sell actual video games again, it might start to seem a little tastier.
I think that's what's happening.
You
It's
think?
because it's selling so many copies of its games on PlayStation 5.
yeah.
It's like,
I mean,
we aren't even marketing to these people.
I mean, not even like Call of Duty. That Forza Horizon release had to be something.
Oh yeah, a huge eye opener. They're like, oh my god, We just released our racing game on PlayStation. It's the best-selling game of the month.
Yeah. And how old is that game?
Yeah, it's like 3 years old, 2 years old. I mean, if that won't open your eyes, nothing's gonna.
I mean, there had to be a couple people looking at that email in like, a couple of offices being like,
what?
Wait a minute.
Seriously.
People want our games?
Yeah.
They'll pay for them? Wasn't I notified about this? It's like, what?
I honestly think the smart thing to do is for Mike to do what Pactor said, make Game Pass $5 a month, stream only pretty much, and then just go back to selling your freaking games or just become a third-party publisher.
Yeah, honestly, like, can an argument be made that PlayStation Plus is the blueprint on this at this point?
Yeah, it kind of is.
Like, I know there was kind of the hype around what Game Pass was doing, but now that we've hit this weird price point,
is PlayStation Plus the better deal now?
Yeah,
it might be.
Maybe, but just because I don't have to think about it, even though I don't have it, I don't really have to think about it. Right?
Yeah, that's true. Yep. So,
at least Nintendo gives me like N64 games.
Yeah. Seriously, it's true. And you only pay what, $30 a month or a year for that?
Yeah, for a year.
Way cheaper.
Yeah.
That's for the year.
For the year, yeah.
So I don't know, man. This is crazy. In fact, I want to check in with chat. Maybe you guys have some kind of an idea of what the hell is going on here. Swan Senpai says, where will Xbox sell games physically? Most stores here won't have an Xbox section. Well, I mean, obviously they'll sell them on Switch, PC, PlayStation 5, and then they just said 2 days ago they are releasing another console.
The Microsoft section is just the PS5 section.
Pretty much. That's all it is now. But look, Microsoft did say it is going to sell another console. My guess is while they were taken off shelves at Costco and Sam's Club and stuff like that, I think GameStop will probably still sell the next Xbox.
I mean, GameStop was out there being like, we're still selling the Game Pass things for
$19.99.
I'm like, okay.
It's like I hate GameStop, but for a day I liked it.
I'm still not going to your store, and I'm certainly not buying any of your Funko Pops, but I appreciate the hustle.
Noxator says, which game did they say was the best seller of the month but older? It was Forza Horizon 5. It sold like gangbusters on PS5.
Yeah. Also because maybe you can't discount the fact that there really isn't anything like that on PS5.
Mm-hmm. The Legacy on YouTube says if you want to play online on Xbox, it's $120. Yeah, it's $10 a month just to play online. Now you get the streaming stuff, but like I would argue they need to go back to just $60 a year just to have play online. Yeah, like that feature should be there. Like. Go back to your old cost just to play online. I
mean, why do you bundle those two things together?
To make more money.
Yeah, but I don't want to.
I don't either. Veritas says on YouTube how much a month does Game Pass need to cost to stop you from saying a game is free on Game Pass? I think we've hit it. Mm-hmm. Definitely. I will not ever say that again. It is. You cannot really in good conscience say that anymore. No. Yep.
There's a point at which it felt free, and they passed that.
Dennis Morosin on YouTube says Black Ops 7 is day one for Ultimate Tier.
Okay.
And Tech 489 falls up.
I'll hang on to that for a month because $30 is better than $80.
It's a little too late to try to yank that carpet out from underneath people, like to announce this and then a month later put out Call of Duty.
Would you?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. The game's not out yet, boys. just to buckle up.
Seriously. Erebus also says, just to be clear, Blob 7 is still coming day one. I'm not sure the idea was being dropped has come from. That isn't the case. If you look at the documentation, and I literally just copied and pasted it from the Xbox website for my notes, and it says Ultimate, over 400 games. Actually, you're right. I don't see it in my notes. Where did I get that from? Oh, that's for the premium tier. At $14.99 a month, you no longer get Call of Duty.
Well, you also know there's no guarantee of day one anything on that.
Right. Yeah. Yep. You get 200 games.
Because I saw that as a non-starter, not because of Call of Duty, because I'm like, well, that doesn't guarantee I'm going to get Fable day one. So that's
good. Thank you guys for correcting us on that. That's important. So I guess I just misread my notes somehow. So thanks again, chat. That's why you guys are awesome. You guys make the show better every single week. Age of the Legend Watson says, so if Game Pass goes away, do subscribers get to keep the games? No. If you look at the terms of service, you don't own anything.
Nope.
I mean, you don't even own your digital games. If Xbox goes away, your library that you've built on Xbox for the last 20 years goes away.
Well, unless you download it.
Right. Well, download what?
Install it.
And just leave it installed forever.
Yeah.
But
how
my Xbox library is hundreds of games.
Yeah.
So you'd lose most of them.
I wouldn't.
How would you download them all? Just get a big external drive
External
or something?
drives.
Yeah.
Let's do it that way.
Yeah, you could do
That's
it.
all. I mean,
It get expensive.
But also, let's not forget, the Steam is the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
If Steam goes away, you lose all those too.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you whatever you download. I mean, obviously you can load up many terabytes of drives with your Steam installs forever, but one day that Windows version will no longer be the same, and unless you're running an ancient PC, like things go away. I have literally dozens of Mac OS 7. I think it wasn't even called OS then. It was called System 7 games that don't work anymore because they just don't work beyond that point. Like that, it happens. Games go away. Like things aren't playable forever. That's why we have That's why we should have remasters, not quick cash-ins. But bringing games up to modern day like systems is important. That's why it's important.
Lassie Pukin, and I'm sure I'm mispronouncing your first name. I apologize for that. But he says, if you kind of felt that Game Pass was too good to be true, it indeed was. Completely unsustainable on many levels. Yeah. And I think that's the way it was. That's why we kept saying games were free on Game Pass, because it was too good to be true. And now it's just simply not that way anymore. Swan Senpai says, PlayStation doesn't do day one. Maybe Xbox is going to follow. I mean, they're kind of hedging their bets a little bit by dropping it from the one tier, the $15.99 tier.
I mean, they're certainly priming that going forward.
Joaquin showed up late asking if we liked Ghost of Yotei. We did.
Yes.
But you can watch the archive and get our impressions. Eve Demon says, my hot take on the Xbox is PS5 didn't win. They survived. And a lot of the problems that are affecting Microsoft are issues for Sony too, not least of which is first party costing more and selling less. That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, Packard's been saying that forever, that PlayStation is the winner, and so it is going to survive longer than the other guy who's not the winner. His point is, like, you basically had to be the winner to survive at this point. And PlayStation was and Xbox was not. So
Sony avoids the lost revenue from first-party exclusives problem by not putting any first-party exclusives out.
Right. So. It's true. Quickster says the only thing that can kill Call of Duty is normal Microsoft mismanagement.
Yep.
And they're teetering on it. It really feels that way. Anything else? Vincent says COD is still day one. Okay, so he's got a bunch of people correcting that. They've cut that 10% discount across all games, not just Call of Duty. I did not see that, Erebus. Interesting. But Call of Duty was the one I think that everybody used it the most for, because obviously it was Game Pass's biggest game. So it's just a bigger deal for the game that everyone's playing. What is Delicious? First time chat. Welcome, What is Delicious, to our live show. He says, imagine if Nintendo expanded their service to mobile and PC so you could stream retro games for cheap. That's also something Packer's been calling for years.
I'll tell you why it wouldn't work. Because those old NES games, the lag from cloud streaming, it would kill them.
You're probably right.
Those things require frame perfection.
No, you're right.
Sometimes.
That's interesting.
It would not be the same play experience, and nobody would go for it. The retro people would shred it.
Yeah. The JBone29 says, I don't believe anything that Xbox management has to say.
Yeah.
And you're right.
That seems very clear.
You're right to feel that way.
I mean, it's always wise to have that in the back of your head for any management, but Xbox management really it really feels like 3 different people were running the show this week and nobody was talking to each other. Or they all hate each other. One or the other.
Could be both.
Could be both. Yeah, we don't know. Yeah.
God of Gamblers 33 says, it's a win for Microsoft either way. I only hear people unsubscribe so that they will buy the games, or they pay the same by downgrading to a lower tier.
Yeah, the thing Microsoft likes about Game Pass is they get a certain amount of money from you every year. They may not get that much money from me every year just buying video games.
Yeah.
Probably will, but it depends what they put out. I mean, you got to put out enough output. Like next year, they probably will make more from me selling games to me than they would from a Game Pass subscription. The year after, who knows?
Yeah.
Like we don't know what their first party output's going to look like going forward.
Yeah. It's, again, we just talked about this for another 40 minutes.
The other thing is,
we still don't have any idea what the hell's going on.
The other thing is, a lot of times I would probably buy the games through Steam, which would make it be another cut from them.
Which it also sounds like the next Xbox is going to work with Steam, which means buying stuff on Steam means that stuff will work on the next Xbox. So I don't know what. Or it'll
be like, I think it'll be like the way Mac has Steam, where almost everything in my library doesn't work.
Right.
And it's just like, this is not compatible with this. We're
showing
it to you, but you can't play it on this.
So anyway, I really kind of thought that by the time we did this episode of GameFace, that Microsoft would come out and be like, sorry, we screwed up, and we're going.
Whatever's happening here, this is the sound.
I think this is the first.
This is the sound of inevitability.
It is, yeah. So anyway, stay tuned. I'm not sure if I'm going to cancel Game Pass or not. And when I make that decision, I'll let you guys know. But it's just confounding. I just cannot understand the logic behind what is happening with this at all. Yeah. It's like you're dying for new subscribers, so you increase the price? Mm-hmm. What? Econ 101 tells you that is idiotic? I don't know what's going on. I could on asking anything.
I could have seen it if like the new Ultimate tier was like a whole bunch of new extra like bonus stuff, like weird nice to have shit.
Yeah, and they give you value for the $10.
Yeah, and the middle one kind of is what we're used to on Ultimate. It's like okay, fine, like, but like basically an excuse for me to stay where I am and not worry about. I don't need the top tier for these things. I just want like day one games and online multiplayer. But if you're gonna make it so expensive, I think even just. None of the tiers are appealing. Like, even the baseline tier just to keep online multiplayer, I think costs too much because they add the streaming into it, which is something I'm never going to use. So I'm like, you know what? For the first time since 2003, I am going to cancel online multiplayer on Xbox Live. I'm going to cancel Xbox Live.
Yeah. OG Xbox Live.
I have been a subscriber to Xbox Live since the beta.
Me too. I've never dropped.
No. Continuous.
I got some corny little avatar for it 10 years ago.
I've been a subscriber for 22 years.
Yeah.
And I am canceling this next month.
Over this. It's worth it. It's totally understandable. This is bonkers, people. This is bonkers. This is not done. We're going to find out eventually why this is all happening. Yeah. They're going to announce something else eventually.
Get on it, Schreier.
That's why they did it.
I know Jason Schreier is making phone calls right now.
Oh, yes, he is.
He's all over
looking through court cases, and he's... You know that's what those guys do, right?
Yeah.
Like all the investigative journalists in gaming, all they do is they just go look at court dockets. And that's it.
Because that's all public information.
And they just find the court case, and then they start digging. That's all they do.
Start digging, start calling some people.
It's still work, obviously.
Yeah, of course it's work.
It's being a real journalist.
That's investigative journalism.
It is, yeah. All right, there you go. Those are our... I wish we could have given you a better solution on this, but we're just as flummoxed over this as you are. So that's the best we can do with the information we have. And unfortunately, Microsoft and Xbox give us no information on this stuff. So we have to try to figure it out on our own, and this is a conclusion that we've come to, that we don't know. It's insane. All right, let's move on. We're going to talk next about something that's tangentially related to what we just discussed, and that is Call of Duty Black Ops 7. The beta has been going on. I've been playing it for, 5 days now at this point. I think just yesterday it went up for everybody. So you guys can go and play this yourself now if you want to. But I've been playing it for a while. I think my character level is level 30-something, or I played it a lot. So anytime I was not playing Ghost of Yotei, or I was had a little downtime, I play a few matches of COD. So I've been playing a ton of Call of Duty multiplayer, and I'm about to deliver my impressions of it for you guys right now. I guess the first thing I would say, my general overarching opinion of it, is that it's pretty much exactly like Black Ops 6. And I realize that that's not what you want to hear. I think everybody wanted this to be some kind of brand new, interesting thing. It's not. And this is Black Ops 7, and last year's game was Black Ops 6. But Black Ops 7 is kind of built on the foundation of Black Ops 2, which was, I still consider, probably the most innovative Call of Duty ever made, other than Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, when it took it to the modern age and basically rewrote the script on first-person shooters. Other than that, Black Ops 2 is probably the most innovative Call of Duty that was ever released. So I thought that the multiplayer for this, since it's based on Black Ops 2, might try some new things, but honestly, it's really hard to tell the difference. Other than the new maps and a couple other things I'm going to go over real quick here, it feels almost identical to Black Ops 6. At least I feel that it does. The first thing I would say is that the new movement options in this, there's no jetpacks or anything like that, but you do get a double jump and a wall jump. The double jump is pretty handy because you can use it anywhere. It just helps you get to ledges you normally wouldn't be able to reach, so it does kind of open up the verticality in the maps. Now, I'd also say that the maps don't do much to make use of that. Most of the maps are still pretty flat and aren't really vertical, but within the confines of that, you can do a lot more with the game now because you have the double jump. Now, the wall jump is used in these very specific cases. You can use it whenever you want. Like, you can jump on a wall and jump off the wall if you want to, but the levels really aren't designed for that at all. So instead, you have these maps that have these very specific areas where they're like, wall jump here. like in the center of the map, there'll be like these walls with like the circular area where they're clearly telling you this is where you need to use the wall jump. However, in the heat of battle, out on your maps in typical areas of the map, you're not going to use that wall jump at all. So I'm not even sure why they decided to include it. Maybe they decided to include it so they did have something that they could say was different from Black Ops 6. But for the most part, for me, the movement options in this aren't that different from Black Ops 6. And the guns and everything else aren't all that different either. They talked about how, after the positive response to Battlefield 6, that they wanted to take out the corny skins and all that kind of stuff out of Call of Duty for this year. But they're all still there, basically. Like, the characters are still kind of this weird mashup of, like, people that don't seem to fit in the same universe. It also still has the same weird end-of-match emote scene that Black Ops 6 has, where it just shows the 3 top scorers, and then you have, like, a split second to input a D-pad thing, and then they do a really awkward that was just so awkward and weird. I can't believe they didn't replace it for this. But it's just another thing that feels identical to Black Ops 6.
So what are they pushing as the new things? Just the wall jump?
The movement.
The wall jump and
the double jump and the wall jump are supposed to be the big new revelations or whatever. And they're not. Again, the double jump could be cool if they actually built the maps vertically, but the maps are the same as they've always been. They never really go higher than 2 stories. So they haven't really made, maybe future DLC maps will make more of the double jump. I don't know. Maybe they don't want to introduce those right away so players get used to using the double jump before it's required in a map. I'm not sure. But the maps that are currently in place do not make use of it at all. The other big thing, they have one brand new mode that's called the Overload mode. And basically, it's this mode where you run and you pick up this little backpack thing, and you have to take it back to one of 2 drop-off points. And the other team's trying to do the same thing and trying to stop you and blah, blah, blah. They forced that mode on people over the last 5 days way too much. I get it. It's the new mode. They want people to like it, and they want people to play it. And they probably need to test it and figure out, like, as far as like how the ebb and flow of it is working it. So I understand why they maybe pushed it a little bit, but I discovered that probably 50% of the matches I played were Overload. And again, it's just another variant of capture and hold. You pick up the object, you run it back to the drop-off point, you do it enough times, halftime, they give you a score, you switch sides, do it again. So even the brand new mode that was supposed to be the new hotness didn't have a lot of draw for me. In fact, it got to the point like yesterday, after I had been on the beta for like 5 days, where it would come up and I would groan. And sometimes I would actually leave the match and try to join another server that wasn't playing the Overload mode. So that's another addition that I didn't find that was all that compelling or fun. It does feel like they changed sliding maybe a little bit in this. I'm not good enough at it where I could really see the differences, but being somebody playing against other good players, it's almost impossible to stop. You'll see it in the B-roll here a couple times where I come face to face with somebody and they slide past me and shoot me before I can even turn around. So if you're playing against good players in this, you're definitely going to have to learn how to slide and learn how to slide very well.
I can't believe that guy didn't kill you.
Yeah. Well, maybe he was reloading or whatever. You just never know. Because it's just total mayhem. It's Call of Duty. You just never know if someone's like trying to switch to their grenade.
Because I saw like the little flash of him. I'm like, oh, that guy's behind him. Shane. And like, then he's just like, nope, I don't know. I don't know where I am.
Him anyway.
Slid around each other.
Yeah. There is like new stuff. Like there's new weapons. Obviously, there's tons of new maps. In fact, I didn't play a single map that I had played before. The maps in general are okay. There was a couple that kind of stood out. There's one map where in the center of the map, there's this moving platform that goes from like the 2nd floor up to the 3rd floor. And you could get in a little like hut on the platform and flip a switch to make it go up or down. And you'd be shocked at how much that affects the game. Like when you're playing like a domination, one of the capture points is on that platform. And it just throws everything into chaos. Because you're trying to capture the platform, but the other team is like hitting the button to try to make it go away. So that was one map that I thought was pretty cool. There's another map where there's this like huge gap in the middle of the map that you have to jump over at all times, and they'll put capture points on that part that you have to jump to. You see people falling and dying down into the gap all the time. That was one map that kind of stood out, but the rest, not so much. Like I think there were 6 maps total in the beta, and 2 of them stood out of the 6. Like, the other 4 were okay, but, like, nothing special or nothing memorable. Certainly nothing that I want to bring up to you guys talking about this for, like, 10 or 15 minutes, if that kind of puts it in perspective for you. talking about the new stuff, the first thing that bothered me is that there are no mines in this game. And that is something that I always use in Call of Duty. I always use like a trip mine or a proximity mine.
It's just drones now.
So no, they've replaced that with a little baby turret. You may have seen it in the B-roll already, because I love turrets, and I ended up using it pretty much the whole time. It's this little dinky turret that you throw down on the ground that's like a foot tall. And if you get clever with it and hide it in places, what I do is I set it next to a door, and then I am inside the room so people can see me through the doorway. They come running through the door to try to shoot me. They don't realize there's a drone right behind them next to the door. While they're engaging with me and I'm shooting them, they're also getting shot from behind by the drone. So I ended up using the drone instead. But if you're somebody like me who uses like proximity mines or trip mines in Call of Duty, at least right now, they're not in the game. Maybe they can add them later, but I've unlocked everything in the beta and they're still not there. So I was kind of surprised to see that. There's a new kill streak called the Skewer, which is like this missile that comes down from the sky and just kills you instantly. And you don't see it, you don't hear it, you just die. Which I thought was a little weird. Like, it didn't feel like you had any chance to even kind of get away from it. They do say, like, skewer in air or whatever, but you don't know if it's coming.
So is that a mass drop? Like a rod from God thing? Like
kind of.
Where it's not a missile, they just drop a spike from orbit that hits you.
I think it is, yeah. So if you get it, you just, like, hit a button on a walkie-talkie, and you don't control anything. And, like, a minute later, sometimes it will kill somebody. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a delayed thing sometimes. But it's, like, there's been things like this in Call of Duty, but before it gave you a better, like, alert so you could try to get away from it. It's not so in this. And so a lot of times in this game, you just die. You're just standing there, and boom, you're just dead. And that is the Skewer, the new kill streak. You may have seen also the one of the other new cool kill streaks.
Can it hit you inside?
No. If you're inside, you're okay. Although, they'll come through the glass. So if there's glass overhead, it will come down through the glass and kill you still. So you do have to look up and see if there's actually a real roof there. Another cool kill streak or score streak that I never got to see in action is a mech called the Rhino. It is literally like straight out of like anime. It's this mech, I guess, that you call down and it just goes on a rampage. I never got to see it.
Yeah, I saw it when you're scrolling through the upgrade things.
Yeah.
It says remote controlled.
Really?
So maybe you get to use it.
I never got to use it. I never got a streak high enough, and when I did, I didn't have that one installed, so I didn't get to check it out, and I never saw anybody else use it either.
Yeah, the wording was hard. I couldn't tell if it meant you remote controlled it or if it was remotely controlled, and that's why it's running around on its own when you summon it. I'm not sure. But
so there's that.
No, definitely the mech caught my eye for sure.
Yep, it's really cool and completely different for Call of Duty. There's another thing called an HKDS, which is a hunter kill drones, and they actually like seek and destroy. So drones are a big part of this for sure. And then one of the cool field upgrades is this new thing called a drone pod, and you've been seeing that throughout this entire footage. It's this little device that you throw down on the ground, and it holds 3 drones. And as soon as you put it down on the ground, it starts launching the drones, and they just seek the enemy. And it generally...
Oh, that was a slide guy.
Yeah. It's generally not like... I just threw the turret down there. But anyway, it's generally not a one-hit kill, and it killed him, actually. It's generally not a one-hit kill with those drones that come out of the drone pod, but it takes like half of their health. So if somebody's near death or whatever, it'll kill them. Or you can pull the same trick with that you do with the little drone, distract them, they don't see the drone pod, they get hit by a couple of drones, you finish them off with a couple bullets, blah, blah, blah. So I do feel like the new additions, like I just ran through, I do feel like they do provide new opportunities for new strategies and things like that, which is good. That's what you're always looking for from Call of Duty, particularly when you're thinking about how many hours you're going to play this when it's all said and done. There was also...
Oh, there was one.
Yeah, the slide guys.
No, I think you got hit by the skewer.
Oh, the skewer, yeah.
Something hit you from the top and you just disintegrated.
It also feels like if you're on a kill streak, you get killed by the skewer. I don't know if it prioritizes people who are on a streak. It felt like it to me. It felt like every time I had collected 5 or 6 kills, I would get hit by one of those things. It pissed me off because I'm like, I'm going to hide now to try to get a couple more kills to get that better skill streak, and then death from above would just appear out of nowhere. So you get the drone pod, like I mentioned, for the new field upgrades. There's also a thing called an echo unit. There's a hologram soldier that you can throw down, which is surprisingly effective. Shooters have had the hologram fake soldiers in them for forever. The ones in this really work. Like, you can put one down and just go hide and watch it, and just watch everybody shoot it. Literally, the entire other team will shoot it. So the hologram in this works better than the holograms that you've seen in other first-person shooters. And then this game also has wild cards in the beta. There was Overkill, there was Gunfighter, and then Perk Greed. So you can equip more perks. There's also a brand new tactical called the Pinpoint Grenade, and it's this grenade that throws out these little like needled objects that will stick in your arm and allow the enemies to track you. You have to physically pull it out of your arm and throw it on the ground. So that's a pretty cool new addition as well. They also have a new thing called Psych Grenades, which makes enemies hallucinate. Unfortunately, I never had it used on me, so I didn't get to see what it actually does, but it was in there, and I never used it myself, so I didn't really get to check it out. But that's pretty much it. I played it for 5 days, and those are kind of my impressions of it. Like, overall, the way it plays is just like Black Ops 6. The speed, like I said, the sliding's tweaked a little bit, and you get the double jump and the wall jump, but watching this B-roll, you saw that I hardly ever used either of those things, and you also saw that nobody else is hardly using them either. Like, every once in a while, you'll see somebody do a wall jump just for fun or whatever, but it's very rarely tactically prudent to use it. So it'll be interesting to see if over time with DLC maps, if they start releasing maps that make use of these new movement things, but it appears, at least initially, that and there's this is the map I was talking about that has a platform that moves up and down. That was the platform right there. And there's a little hut on the platform, and you get in there, you're a sitting duck when you're in there. Once you get in there, you can hit the button, and it will move the platform down a floor. And totally mess things up if you're playing like Domination, you're trying to capture the point or whatever. So, yeah, those are my impressions of Black Ops 7 multiplayer. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed. It felt like a pair of gloves that I could just put on, and I immediately, there it is. There's the platform moving right there. And that little hut there, there's a switch you can flip inside it that will move it. Oh, perfect. Right there I am. Flipping this perfect. Right in time with the B-roll. And now it'll move. Like in Team Deathmatch, it doesn't matter that much, but they put the objective on this pad for the objective-based modes, and it makes a big difference. And I would like to see a lot more of that in Call of Duty going forward, like interactive maps that change, and you can change them and be strategic with it. I'd like to see a lot more of that going forward, but we'll see. So I had fun with it, but again, it felt like I was just playing Black Ops 6 longer with a bunch of new maps. Like, it just didn't really feel like a new Call of Duty game. Zombies, I did not play, and that was a mistake on my part. I should have. I'm not a big Zombies fan, and so maybe I was a little bit selfish there. I should have played it, even though I don't really enjoy it, because it is available in the beta. So if you want to check it out, you can go and download it and play it for yourself. I probably should have, and I didn't. So I'm just so crunched for time trying to get through Yotei and everything. I just didn't have time. So here's the wall jump section right there. It was. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, there's certain sections where they're like, here's where you want a wall jump, but you don't really use it like everywhere else in the game. It's bizarre. So I'm sure they figured that out, that like people aren't using it. They're going to look at a lot of the data from this test, and they're going to try to figure out like what people are using and they're not using, and maybe that will motivate them to release some maps that make use of this new movement stuff a little more. But otherwise, it just felt like an old car that I've had for 10 years, and I'm very good at driving. It didn't feel like there were a lot of changes or additions that made a huge difference. It really just felt like I was still playing Black Ops 6 with a bunch of new maps.
Microsoft news.
Oh, what?
Look what Erebus just said.
Oh, hold on. Let's go to the chat screen. All right, let's see. Breaking news here on GameFace. In other COD news, Microsoft has announced a free play for everyone week, including the campaign, starting the day before Battlefield comes out. All right, so here's the thing. They extended...
Oh, wait, go back down. Vincent says it's Black Ops 6.
Oh, okay. That makes a big difference.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference. Okay. That changes the story completely. Okay. Thank you, Vincent, for that clarification. So
still mean, but
it
not
is,
as.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know if any of you guys have been playing the beta. It's free for download.
Also, like, don't you guys have a deal with EA?
Right.
Like EA Play part of your
Game
thing?
Pass? Yeah. Well, so here's the thing I forgot to finish, is that they extended the beta another day because Battlefield 6 comes out tomorrow, I think?
Does it?
Tomorrow or the next day. And so they extended it like right up until Battlefield 6 comes out.
It must be the 10th because it's Thursday night
versus
the 10th. Friday. Yeah. So
it's cool to see this happening. This battle between Battlefield 6 and Black Ops 7, like, it'll be interesting to see who wins, especially since we don't have
I think I know who's going to win.
Do you?
Battlefield's not going to outsell Call of Duty.
Oh, you don't think? Yeah, okay. Well, I think it will outsell it, but I think there will be more players on Call of Duty because a lot of people will play it on Game Pass for free still. So
I mean, how much would Black Ops 6 sell? Like sell.
Well, they said they lost 300 million on it, so
Right, but how many copies?
I think it was
sell?
like around 20, something
20
like
million?
that. Yeah.
Okay, the top-selling Battlefield of all time sold 25 million.
Yeah. It has a chance, but
It
not a
really
very good
doesn't.
one.
It really, really doesn't.
I think it has a chance definitely for more players, but to outsell it.
Like, I guess anything can happen, but if I was going to put money down, my money's on Black Ops to sell more copies.
Selling more
even,
copies?
Even
if it's only on PS5.
Yeah.
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 All right.
Easily.
Yeah. We'll see.
It's Battlefield is not that big. I mean, again, 25 million copies for Battlefield 1, which was a big deal. Mm-hmm. But the total sold Battlefield copies of the whole lifespan of the IP is 80 million.
I know. Yeah.
Like that's
it usually sells like 10.
Yeah.
For a good entry.
Like Battlefield 1 is responsible for more than a quarter of the Battlefield games ever sold.
Yeah. It was pretty
like
good.
It's not that big a franchise, really. I mean, I know they like to position it as a Call of Duty rival, but Call of Duty really doesn't have any rivals.
Majora Tom says, I believe that on YouTube says that I believe the marketing for Battlefield 6 is with PlayStation now. I mean, I think the marketing for Call of Duty is still with PlayStation.
Yeah, I think
now.
the marketing for everything is with PlayStation.
It is. I mean, you have to be an idiot to not go to PlayStation. Commander Fett says this Call of Duty feels like a mix of Black Ops 2 and 3. Interesting. Erebus Jones says you can hear when the crew is targeting you. Yeah, I said that there's a message, but sometimes there's a big time delay before that thing ever drops down. Vinaraba says I like Blob 6 and I find this game to be really unfun. Okay, well Vinaraba, what do you find different from Black Ops 7 and Black Ops 6? I'm really struggling to find anything. It really just feels like the same game with new maps and a double jump to me. So I'm interested to hear what you think is so different about it. Any other comments? Ruthina77, do you think this is a long-term thing after June 4? Okay, she's still talking about the Game Pass stuff, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Any other comments here? Zweeko9, thank you for Twitch Prime. As always, try to subscribe while we're talking with you guys so I can thank you. So good job, Zweeko9. Appreciate it. Contano says hard pass between EA taking Saudi money and Microsoft ruining Game Pass. Neither Battlefield nor Call of Duty are getting my time and money this year. I can understand that. Taking a moral stand for sure. Vincent says it seems like this Blops is getting negative buzz. I hadn't seen it. I haven't been looking.
They always do though.
Yeah.
From the from the core gaming world, and then it doesn't matter when the rubber hits the road. So.
Yeah. Commander Fett says you get the grounded feel of Black Ops 2, but some of the movement of 3 minus the wall running. Okay. And then Vinaraba, I guess, has not chimed in, or maybe he's typing that out right now.
You let me know when Infinite Warfare 2 is out.
Yeah, which is never going to happen.
No.
Here he is. Time to Kill felt a lot faster, especially with so many one-shot guns. And aim assist felt stronger, making engagements feel more chaotic and random. I can't tell which game he's talking about there.
I was imagining you're talking about the new one.
Oh, Time to Kill is longer in Black Ops 7, for sure, without a doubt. So many people get away from me in Black Ops 7. If I'm trying to shoot them with an assault rifle from like 80 yards, I hardly ever can finish them off before they round a corner. I think Time to Kill's longer in Black Ops 7, but I don't know that for a fact. I played it for 5 days. That's how it felt to me. Aim assist felt stronger. It felt the same to me. Call of Duty always has a pretty strong aim assist, but it felt the same. It didn't seem... I also didn't have those moments where you're aiming down the sight and an enemy runs into your view and it makes the gun move.
Pulls the gun, yeah.
I did not have that happen once in Black Ops 7. Not once. So that would make me think that maybe the aim assist is turned down a little bit.
Or at least it doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. That feels like not something I would want it to do.
Yeah, that should not be in a video game. I agree. But yeah, Vinarab, I respectfully disagree with you. I don't agree with your assessments of it. But maybe you played more zombies and you felt something different there. I don't know. Vinarab followed up. Always hard to tell in betas, but I had close to 100 hours in 6, and 7 felt totally weird to me. I don't even know how many hours I put into 6. I don't want to know. I don't look at that stuff. All right, well, there you go. That's our preview of Call of Duty Black Ops 7 multiplayer. The game doesn't launch for another month. It did end up ultimately giving Battlefield 6 plenty of time to get some sales in before it launches, so it will be interesting to see how that all plays out. All right. Our final topic, and it's going to be a short one, is Hades 2. And the reason it's going to be a short one is because I already played the crap out of Hades 2 when it was in early access, and I kind of reviewed it on the show already. I think we discussed it already for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It was like...
I did not play it until the day after it went 1.0.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to... I already am irritated by roguelites enough that I wasn't going to play one that was still being baked. So
I only went back once after I played the initial early access version, but I had gotten really far in the initial early access version. I mean, that game was pretty much complete. Mm-hmm. And here we are a year later, and here's the crazy thing, Matt, is reviewing a game like this, where you played a ton of it a long time ago, and then they put out the new version, but you still have the save that you had from before. So did you start over, or did you pick up from your save from the early access version?
I never played it.
Oh, you didn't play the early access?
I said,
that's right.
I have never played it.
Waited. I thought you had played it and just didn't play it the whole year waiting for 1.0.
Nope.
Okay.
I bought it when it went live early access to support
Greg and the team, Supermassive.
Support Supermassive, but I did not actually load it up until last week.
Okay, good. That's good that we have two different perspectives here on this. So from my perspective, it was weird to jump into a game a year or some later and be pretty far into it, almost to the end. And I had no idea what was going on anymore. I had to actually go and look at my notes from when I covered Hades 2 a year ago to remember how what everything was. So when I started the game, I was in the hub, and my hub is gigantic now and loaded with stuff. And I had forgotten what all that stuff was. I had forgotten which currencies I needed to use at which stations, what each station did. I'd forgotten how long it takes for stuff to happen, how everything's on a cooldown in the hub. I'd forgotten how the cauldron were. I'd forgotten almost anything. So I had to kind of relearn everything again, which is very interesting because I'm in the further parts of the game where it's really hard. I'm relearning how to play. It was very interesting. This isn't something I don't know if I've ever done before, where I pretty much reviewed a game, they worked on it for a year, and then I'm reviewing it again, sitting here. And again, you may remember just 4 or 5 episodes ago, I reviewed a Hades-like that I really like called Toa, where you can control 2 characters at once. And now I will say, going back and playing this a year later, it does feel a little dated after playing Toa. Because having that extra character that you play as and you're controlling does add an extra wrinkle to strategy and all that kind of stuff. And your builds, as far as the characters that you're building, you're kind of building 2 characters at once, where in this you're building 1. But I also think that this is the creme de la creme of the roguelites. It feels like this is about as good as that design doc is going to get. That's the other thing I realized very quickly, is how all these parts that I couldn't quite remember how they all snap together, and they all work together and feed into each other. And even I forgot about how you can get some power-ups that help you generate more silver, and silver is kind of the key that unlocks all the doors in the game. It is an expertly crafted roguelite game.
I didn't want to play this game.
Really? You mentioned last week you're kind of burnt out on...
I've had enough of these games. Yeah. We're all going to die one day, and we don't need to play the same fucking dungeon 40 times in the meantime.
Yeah.
So I loaded it up, because I already had it. So I loaded it up anyway because I knew we were going to have to talk about it. Anyway, and I played it for 10 hours, actually.
Oh, wow.
I actually did like it. I liked Hades. I didn't finish Hades, but I had enough of Hades.
I couldn't finish it. I don't think I ever finished this either.
Even though I've seen on the discussion boards, this is I finished this 6 times and I don't understand why it's so easy and they needed to say, okay, dude, fucking play something else then. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm sorry you can speed run Elden Ring in 4 hours, but maybe it's time to buy a new game. What do you want me to tell you? Again, most of this is just presentational. The world of this is amazing. The story, the writing, the
voice acting,
all the presentational stuff is phenomenal. Top of the line for video games, not just roguelites.
Right.
I would watch the Hades animated series.
I would too,
no question, without any hesitation whatsoever. I love that you go back and you die and go back, and there's new things to talk about, and the game acknowledges that they integrate the repetitiveness of the roguelite into the plot, into the setting. Yeah. It all works. If you're gonna play one of these, this is the best one.
Yeah.
The first one and this one are the best one. No one does it better than these guys. But I got through, I think, to the 3rd or 4th boss, main boss, the level or whatever it is of whatever, and died for the 5th or 6th time, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
I will never finish this game.
And it feels good. Like, to be clear, like, it feels good to play. The progression is fun. Like, the upgrades are meaningful, better than the first game, I think. Like, the builds you can make are crazy.
I think it's more gentle, too.
I would say so. All the weapons are very different. Like, your playstyle changes, literally has to change depending on which weapon you pick up, and that's great. There are weapons where I'm just like instantly took to them. There are weapons where I'm like, I don't understand this skull weapon. Like, it took me like 3 runs to understand how it works. To work.
Yeah, a lot of things are like that.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
It is cool. Yeah,
and all that's all the little goals to achieve. You always feel like you're making some kind of progress. The tarot card thing is a great upgrade system because every time you come back, it feels like you get something useful.
And you do.
It's all great, but man, I just don't have the patience for this stuff anymore.
It's just another part of it to me is knowing in the back of my mind, I'm never going to complete the game.
And I understand 100%, 1000% why they did Hades 2.
Yeah.
I mean, the first game was a phenomenon. It was honestly a game culture phenomenon.
It was. Yeah.
You had to follow that up. You had to hit that iron again while it was hot.
Yeah.
But I can't wait for them to make another game.
I don't think there will be another Hades. Yeah. I think this is it. I think this is the last.
One of the things I value about Supermassive the most is everything they make is so different and so
it's always good.
Even when it's something familiar like Hades was, it was just like, this is our own take, this is our own ideas. It's done in a way you've never seen it done before. And this, again, I think this is probably
perfection.
The best you're ever gonna make a roguelite.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, this is probably the best roguelite ever made.
You're never gonna have a team that talented working this long on something with a huge audience of engaged fans who are obsessed with making the game better. Like, it's just been the perfect storm.
As the saying goes, if you're tired of London, you're tired of life.
Yeah.
If you don't like Hades 2, you don't like roguelites.
True. Yeah.
You're just not gonna like these games.
Yeah.
And I, even as someone who didn't want to play this very long, I really enjoyed it. I can't throw myself against that brick wall anymore. It's just not something I want to do, but I really enjoyed playing this game.
I'm not a roguelite guy for sure.
No.
I want to be able to at least delude myself into believing I'm going to finish the game.
Yeah.
With this, I just know it's never going to happen. So it feels like at a certain point, you're right. Like, you bang your head against the same boss wall a handful of times, I'm done. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, I'm good.
Especially when it's something like, man, I know what I have to do here. Yeah. I just can't do, I needed a couple more tries to really get the pattern down, but to get that other try, you got to play for 20 more minutes.
You got to get through that whole gauntlet again.
Like, it's, the run back is
and
not...
And they're good about it, too.
Oh, yeah. But again, no matter how much you dress it up, the run back is not an interesting gameplay idea to me.
I agree.
And I just... Because you know what a run back is to me as a fighting game person? Pressing the fucking start button again. Because the guy's standing right there and we're going to rematch. Done.
Yeah. But this is about as good as this genre gets.
It's the pinnacle of it. This is and every single thing in it, I'm just like, oh, that's such a good idea. It's such a good idea. It's such a good idea. Like, it's just over and over again.
They found the right balance between everything. Like, I think the difficulty balancing is right, but I just know I'm never going to have enough time to get good enough at it to make it through the game. And so it keeps me from continuing to play it. But I do think if you like this genre...
If you like this genre, and if you like having a game that you just, like, stick with and sit with and master... Like, this might be the game of the year for you. Like, it's hard to think of another one that matches up.
But I do think that this is the end of the road for Hades. I think that they have basically created the perfect game.
I don't know what else you do. Yeah, especially because they're lucky. They're kind of lucky that the setting they chose lends itself to continuing that, because mythology just can go forever.
It's eternal. Literally, it's eternal.
And again, all the characters it's such interesting takes on the Greek mythology characters, and they all make sense. If you know Greek mythology very well, which I do, like, it all makes sense. They're all really smart upgrades to these characters and updates to the characters. Like, even the general tone of, like, this conflict between the Olympian gods and the Titans. And, like, everyone's just a dick to each other the whole time, and making your character do all this stuff on your... It's so on brand.
And the writing's
great. So good.
For all that stuff, too. The writing sells
I forgot to point this out in the Yotei section. One of the credited writers on Yotei is Lee Kuo.
Oh,
who
no
was
way!
a producer and writer on the old G4 icons, cheat, filter. Like he was an old school, like before us, G4 producer, and he wrote was one of the writers on Yotei.
It's great
and
to see all our old friends.
Several other credits too, but I just saw him in the writing credits on IMDb, and I'm just like, hey,
nice.
I know you.
That's great.
So that's just it was a fun thing that I saw.
And speaking of great, this game is great.
This game is great.
It really is. Like if you like these games, this is the pinnacle of it. You should buy it without question. You know what you're getting into. It's a roguelite where you do the same thing over and over, but they've also mastered that. Like they're very good at like chopping down the run back as much as you can while still making the game difficult.
It's the least painful run back in all of roguelikedom probably, but it's still a little more than I could.
It's still a run back.
And Joaquin Dragon, I wouldn't say this is that much like Bastion, but it is the same people who made Bastion.
Yeah.
So
it's the same studio.
It's probably worth trying.
Yeah, but it's not like Bastion.
No, I mean Bastion the procedural maze map that is common to this, but this is a lot more involved than Bastion.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's elements of Bastion in this because that's also what this studio does. It kind of builds on things that it did before. I
do think Hades is like a great grandnephew of Bastion for sure. Like you don't get to Hades without making Bastion.
This studio in particular doesn't get there. AJ the Legend asks, so if you had to bet, do you think we get a Hollow Knight 3 or Hades 3? Hades 3, no.
I think Hollow Knight, is possible. Hades 3, I do not think is in the cards.
I don't either. But I think Hollow Knight 3 is definitely happening. We won't get it for a decade or whatever.
Or maybe I don't know. Maybe they have. I'm sure there's a lot of things they couldn't use in Silksong that they can then like repurpose into a Hollow Knight 3.
Maybe.
But they don't need to. They can take their time and do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Like
they don't have to work ever again. There's like 5 dudes who they're so filthy rich. It's awesome. But yeah, they don't have to make another one, but I think they will. But I think they'll take their time. Yeah.
It's what they're very good at, and they just proved that they can take 8 years to make another one, and people will show up for it.
Not only show up.
So don't worry. So don't worry about it. Like make your game, make it how you want. Take your time, and the people will beat a path to your door, as they say. Yep.
And then the final thing we should mention about Hades too is that right now, and this is for people who aren't watching or just listening to the show, right now it's only available for PC, Switch, and Switch 2. Mm-hmm. Other console versions will follow later, but I think Nintendo signed a deal with Supermassive, so it's a console exclusive on Switch for a while and on PC. So you can't if you're a PS5 gamer, Xbox gamer, you can't play it yet. You have to stay tuned.
I don't think we know how long that deal is.
Yeah, they haven't announced yet the release date.
But I would have guessed 6 months to a year.
Yep, my guess is probably 6 months.
That would make the most sense.
Yeah, but we'll see. But right now it's only PC and Switch. Joaquin Dragon says, "How's the music? Should I get this for Switch 2?" I don't know if I would play. Well, if you play Switch 2 in handheld mode, I don't know that this is a good handheld mode. That would be
pretty
game.
Busy. Yeah,
really small. And
I'm pretty happy with my monitor on this one because there's so much happening.
The other thing I should add is that when I played it before, I have my old junky PC, and playing it on my new PC, wow. It's big difference.
Very crisp.
I went back and looked at the old B-roll I recorded on my old PC, and then I was like, okay, like that's a big upgrade. But that's not the game. That's my rig. So anyway, there you go. That is Hades 2, again available for PC and both Switch platforms. Coming to other consoles at a later date.
Super Giant. We've been saying Supermassive. That's the
Super Giant.
Super.
Well, there's also the other studio called Supermassive.
Supermassive is the Quarry.
Right. And they make the
dark
horror
picture
adventure
stuff.
games. Yeah.
I always mix those two up.
I do too.
I do the GameStop thing with them.
A lot of people do that.
Which is funny because Greg Kasavin was also involved in one of those.
That's true. He was my boss at GameSpot.
GameSpot.
Even someone who worked there, I have to think about it before I say it. All right, there you go. That is Hades 2, and which means that all that's left.
You can't even use a metric, like some kind of mean, like a mimetic for that, because like a supermassive, and like a supergiant is a supermassive star.
Right.
Like, there's no way to separate the concepts from that.
I can understand that. Okay, it's time for the lightning round, news roundup, where we tackle some of the smaller stories that aren't quite big enough to get their own topics in GameFace proper. We have a pretty big and pretty good lightning round today.
Ruthina, I do not believe there is a baby mode on Hades.
Baby? Does that mean it's just like you just never die or whatever?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
I don't think that's in. I don't remember that being there.
Again, for me, jumping into the game, I had already played a ton. Like I wouldn't have seen that. So.
Yeah, there are a lot of difficulty levels, but I don't. If there's an easy, I don't remember looking at it. Maybe it was. I don't know what that would be though. Maybe just less damage.
You just never die.
Less damage, maybe.
I mean, that would just kind of destroy the whole point of the roguelite.
I don't think so, because this game's story is worth experiencing.
That's true.
Like, I would like to see the end of the story.
And it is still fun to just play, actually.
And there's twists and turns and character stuff. And
yeah.
The one thing I will say is that, like, and again, I think you can change the difficulty whenever you want, if I remember correctly, but I might be making that up. I've played a lot of games in the last couple weeks. I would say that because of how much story unfolds after you die, it is worth dying a few times.
Oh, you'd miss so much of the game if you never die.
Yeah.
I mean, the game's designed for you to die, so I would recommend against it, but to each their own. You could, they should let you play it however you want.
There was one for Hades that was 50% damage. I don't know. I don't remember if it's in there.
Then I'm guessing for sure it's in
It's
here.
either in there or I'm sure it'll come.
I mean,
eventually.
Greg and that team's not going to cut something that people use for sure.
Oh, that's right. Hades has a god mode. That's right. In the options mode, there's a make you invincible check.
It makes sense.
That basically says whenever you want, you can be invincible.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's right. I remember. I forgot I could do that.
I'm not surprised to hear that at all, because it's Greg and his team, and like they want their games to be played by everybody.
Yeah.
So
well, also, like, if you
gatekeep.
work that hard on the presentation and narrative, you want people to see it.
Yep.
So let them get past the stuff and see it.
Yep.
I agree with that completely. Look at you, From.
Yeah, exactly. Could learn a thing or two. All right, now it really is time for the lightning round, where we go through the smaller news stories of the week a little more quickly than we do on typical Game Face episodes. We have a packed rundown of smaller stories, so we need to get right to them. First up, Matt, in the lightning round. So IGN, we don't usually talk about opinion pieces from other outlets all that often, but one that IGN published this week ended up becoming one of the most commented pieces of content on SIFTD this week, so I thought it might be worth discussing. So one of IGN's editors wrote an editorial this week claiming that pretty much every PlayStation exclusive tells the same story. Mm-hmm. That you somehow suffer incredible loss, and then it's either a redemption or revenge afterwards. And he pointed out, obviously, Ghost of Yotei, which is a new one, but then he also pointed out God of War, and then he pointed out The Last of Us Part 2, and he kind of...
Even Astrobot, really.
In Astrobot, actually.
You suffer a catastrophic loss and then have to spend the rest of the game putting yourself back together.
Exactly. And so...
Because that's one of the 5 basic plots. Like, what else do you want, dude? It's a fucking video game.
Well, I think what he's saying is, like, why aren't they using the other 4?
Well, what do you want?
Here's the thing. It's a compelling hook.
I mean, you've got man versus himself, man versus nature, and man versus others. Like that's all you got. And what do you want them to do? Like, what else do you want them to do?
Well, I mean...
The quest for vengeance is handy because it justifies killing many things.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
here's the thing. I started thinking about it. It's not just PlayStation games.
It's video games.
It's pretty much every freaking video game. It is kind of striking to stop and think that we are experiencing this same plot device over and over, and we never get tired of it. I don't get tired of it.
You know who else didn't get tired of it? The Shakespearean era.
Right.
All of Shakespeare's plots are one of 3 things.
Yeah.
Tragedy, comedy, or history.
Yep.
And they are all the same. The tragedy or comedy at the beginning of a Shakespearean play tells you how it will end.
Uh-huh.
You know it. Romeo and Juliet starts with a little chorus monologue that literally tells you the plot and the ending, and then says, "Hey, let's watch how it happened." And that's it. Like, you always knew what you were going in to see.
Yeah.
Like you it was all about, I'll say it again, execution.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that as a pun in the case of in the case of these games, execution is very much in 2 ways.
Friday X100 reminds us that Mario games too.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's the Rescue the Princess of the current era.
This is for Vidya Games says one of the other 4, dig a hole.
Dig a hole.
Yeah. That's the other ones. I mean, wasn't it Shakespeare that said there's only 5 stories to tell or something like that, and everything else is just a permutation and combination of those 5 things?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Something along those lines.
There's only so many. I mean, when you break up storytelling down, there's only so many things that happen.
Yeah.
And it comes down to the difference between things. Like if you're gonna sit there and tell me that, like, if you break down the plots of these games to their most basic bare bones foundation, they're all pretty similar. If you're gonna tell me that playing Last of Us 2 is the same as playing God of War Ragnarok is the same as playing Ghost of Yotei, you're a fucking idiot. Like, I don't like what. No, like
what's the writing and the people, the characters that make the difference?
The trappings and the specifics and the execution and the creative choices are what make stories different from each other. Not the plots. The plots are all the same for the most part.
I am a little surprised that I do keep enjoying the same plot structure over and over.
You're a fucking horror fan. Don't give me that shit.
But there was a moment where I was like,
how many
dang.
Terrifier movies are you going to watch? Guess what? The clown kills people.
But this time he kills them in
hell. This time he cuts them into quarters.
Yeah. It was just a moment of self-reflection where I was like, dang, okay, I'm pretty easy.
No, you enjoy storytelling from different perspectives, like that.
But the same story.
But that's what stories are. I have a degree in this, man.
It's like a love story is always a love story.
This isn't news to anyone who's like really studied storytelling. The point is who's telling you the story. It's all. That's why Homer was famous and not like fucking whoever Homer's friend was who told the Odyssey worse.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yep. So anyway, it was one of the most commented. I think other people felt the way that I did. They're like, damn, like you're right. Like I've been playing the same plot for years and years.
Mostly what that editorial reveals is not a lot of people think critically about what they're consuming.
It's true.
Which we knew already.
I mean, people just let it wash over them and they consume it. And a lot of time it's just to be not bored.
And sometimes you don't even realize it until it slaps you in the face. Like a lot of people going on about how when Force Awakens came out about how like, oh, like it's just the same story. I'm like, yeah, it's Star Wars. They're all like that. Like, and you see it now because you're looking at it with adult eyes on something that you haven't been watching since you were 4.
Right.
But like, yeah, like most adventure stories are just that hero's journey. There was a whole book about it. A man named Joseph Campbell figured that out before Lucas even started writing shit. Yeah. Like, that's just how it works. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not like some kind of like criticism of these things. It's just people tell stories and people find them compelling. And again, The Force Awakens was that. It made $2 billion because sometimes you just want that classic hero's journey story told to you. You just want that comfort. You want that. I mean, that happens literally in Ghost of Yotei. Like people gather around these storytellers and they tell these stories, and then you go out and kind of like complete the story.
No,
they tell you some legend of something. And you're like, well, I'm gonna go steal that ghost's armor, motherfucker, like because that's who I am. And then you do it. And I love that a lot of times when you finish that story, because they don't want you to have to travel all the way back to wherever you started the quest, the storyteller just sort of wanders up and is like, oh, you got that thing, cool. That's a good ending to that story. I'll go tell that now. It's just like that is basically how storytelling evolved, like forever. Because he's gonna lie about a whole bunch of shit you didn't do, even though what you did was pretty crazy already. And that's what storytelling is. And it's gonna be that guy's version of that story that everybody loves, and not some dude who's telling it worse somewhere else.
No, you're right.
And he's
how you tell the story matters.
He's the naughty dog, and like the guy who ripped him off and told the story worse is like, I don't know.
It's Nintendo.
Sony Ben.
It's Nintendo. It's Mario, the most simplistic version of that same plot device, basically.
I mean, that is, he's been wrong somehow. I mean, again, being wronged is a great way to justify almost anything until you make the decision of how you want the audience to feel about someone. That's how tragedies work too. Mm-hmm. Like early on, you're kind of rooting for Macbeth.
You're right.
Like you kind of see where he's coming from. And you're like, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. He does deserve it. He's pretty cool about that. Oh, and his wife is super behind him, and she's very supportive. That's great. And then it all fucking unravels, and you're like, oh, no, that was murdering the person was very much the wrong thing to do when it comes out. I mean, I guess now that I'm not caught up in that, it makes a lot more sense not to do that. Yeah. But, it's not super different from what happens to Ellie.
Yeah.
And even down to the forced perspective change halfway through the story. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just how storytelling works. And like, I guess bravo to IGN for like pointing that out to the fans of a medium that really don't think about this shit very often. But the ultimate result seemed to be just a bunch of those same like fucking childlike mentalities screaming about it like their most sacred texts were under.
I mean, Matt, I think we're getting to the root of why GameFace does the amount of views that it does versus some other podcast where people are just yelling and because people don't want to think about things that way, and we do.
You can't handle the truth.
It's not the truth. It's just that a lot of people don't look at entertainment that way. They look at it as something that they just bump into, and it just washes over them.
Which is why we're in such a ridiculous spoiler phobia situation right now, where any kind of information about anything is. When I was a young lad, I remember when my parents would see movies and they talk to their friends, and the only thing anyone would ever say was like, "Don't tell me how it ends." Like everything else was fair. They didn't care about that.
Matt, even with storytelling, it's not even just storytelling. Most people don't really look below the surface of anything.
No.
And that really is a problem that we have in our society right now, is that people are just watching television and just taking whatever they're seeing on their TV screen at face value. Either they don't have time or they don't care enough to dive into it. And so you end up with a bunch of people who are living in an alternate reality.
That's why it's called content
right
now. And it's why the Stranger Things Season 5 is going to be a huge hit, even though it's eight feature films. But people aren't going to they're just going to let that wash over them. It's just going to be like they're probably going to do laundry through most. That is an actual note I know people have gotten working on Netflix things, is like you need to have them say what's happening out loud more.
So that people
doing laundry and not looking at the screen understand what's going on.
They just have their AirPods in or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, we got to move on. Next up in the lightning round, the feds are investigating, Matt. They're coming after us. They're going to look for us on Discord, on Fortnite, and on Roblox because we're all a bunch of domestic terrorists who are plotting to end something.
Those young people just destroyed that hill.
Yeah.
Look at that.
We're joking about this, but this is serious. The federal government, the U.S. federal government, is going to start investigating Discord, Fortnite, and Roblox for extremism.
I mean, Roblox probably should be investigated for some things, but not for
extremism.
This. Yeah.
And by extremism,
I mean, there's some extremist content on that, but it's not the stuff they're looking for.
Yeah. And by extremism, what they mean is people who are unflattering to them.
Right.
People who are saying negative things about them.
Like there's actual pedophiles trapping people on Roblox, but we don't
who cares
care
about that? We
apparently.
have a 4-year-old who's thinking about joining Antifa. I mean, that's what we're talking about here, Matt. That's what this is all about.
I mean, who wouldn't be radicalized by getting their own raptor?
We are living
Those are Antifa raptors.
in the dumbest timeline that ever existed. This is what happens when stupidity and evil collide. That is what we are dealing with right now. Incompetence, stupidity, and evil collide to result in what we're dealing with right now. It is bonkers, but it's real. Like they are going to put people monitoring your chats in Discord. They're going to be watching your stuff. It is insane what is happening.
I mean, I also kind of feel sorry for the people they're going to make do that.
Have to do it.
That's going to be horrible, too.
They're like, I really need a job. Like, this sucks, and I feel like a piece of crap for doing this, but I need a job.
Yeah, just go read inane Roblox chat day in and day out until you go crazy.
Looking for someone who types Biden or something?
Yeah,
like, what are you looking for? Like, it's insane.
Well, it's like porn. You know it when you see it.
I guess. So anyway, I mean, Discord's about to go public. And because of that,
there's no quicker way to make sure that someone comes in and replaces Discord soon than to make it and then take it public.
Yeah, well, they're trying to make it go public. In fact, they reached out to me to consult on them going public like a year ago or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, I think it's probably not a conflict of interest, but it kind of is, and so I didn't do it or whatever.
But I will give you from the Duck Consulting Agency a simple one-word advice: don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're going public because the people who found it, what they want to get paid and get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole point.
And I don't blame them. On a certain level, it's like you bust your ass on a product for 15 years. It's like it's time to get paid.
Especially one as thankless as Discord.
Seriously,
when it comes down to it,
it really is. But it's not. Again, it's not just that. It's Fortnite. It's Roblox. They're just trying to listen in on our conversations. Like,
well, and also don't forget, what's the common denominator of all three of those things?
Young people.
No, think about the companies that are doing it. Every single one of those companies can pay them millions of dollars to go away.
Well, that's what I was getting at earlier
it's
about
all money.
Discord trying to go IPO.
Right.
And it's like now they'll pass through regulatory, no problem. It's all extortion.
Right. The point is that they went after things that like, oh, we could invade a lot of privacy unless you pay us money to go away.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen is they're going to donate to the Presidential Library Fund or some shit.
Well, they do the
which
thing
seems to be the slush fund where you put things to make them go away.
Well, it's like they're like, oh, you nice chat program you got here.
Yeah.
Be a shame if something bad happened to it. I mean, that's basically what it's straight up.
I mean, that's Discord. Roblox and Fortnite are more like, oh, all the kids like your thing. Be a shame if the parents thought it was evil.
Right.
You know, like that's basically what's happening here. It's like we will program the parents of your user base to believe that Fortnite is the devil, and you know they can do that because these people believe literally anything. We just saw people sell their cars because they thought they were going to be beamed up into heaven by Angel Saint Scotty.
And gave all their stuff away.
And gave all their shit away and abandoned their children. And here we are. So you can absolutely convince a bunch of these same satanic panic dipshits that Fortnite is run by the devil. And honestly, maybe Tim Sweeney is the devil. We don't know.
Actually, Tim Sweeney, he made
that case might be made for Epic being the devil. I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
But I would certainly like to know which crossroads Tim Sweeney's has been at a few times. What were you burying at that intersection in West Virginia, sir?
All right, we gotta move on. Next up,
I've seen Sinners. I know what happens.
Next up in the lightning round, we talk about AI all the time on GameFace. It's a hot topic across gaming, across everything right now, pretty much. Well, this week, Nintendo's characters started appearing in OpenAI's Sora 2 program, which basically means that at some point, they went in there and they scraped the Nintendo's IP.
Oh, they scraped everything.
And it's now fed into Sora.
Yeah.
I mean, what's going to happen?
Anybody? I don't know. I mean, if this was a fan project, Nintendo would already have a C&D on them. But Nintendo basically said, we're not going to really move too fast on this. So it sounds like they're going to gather the case because they're going to have to actually fight a corporation here. I don't know. I don't know how you stop this.
How do you stop it? How does OpenAI get the Nintendo stuff out of the system? Is it even possible to do that?
It doesn't seem like it would be unless you just completely restarted with a different version. Like
that's not gonna happen.
Like Midjourney still can't get the piss filter out after that Studio Ghibli trend. Mm-hmm. Things still look kind of yellow because of that. So I don't know. I mean, obviously we need to regulate the living shit out of this, not just because of that, but because you can't tell what's real anymore.
Right.
Because
they're getting so good at this point.
Yeah, and probably the only people who can fight that battle are people like Nintendo and Disney, who very much do not want you to think that Mario video is real.
Well, the first video they used was the CEO of OpenAI, standing in a field with a bunch of Nintendo characters saying, "Oh, Nintendo's gonna sue the shit out of us," and
they know that if they win that, it's over. Yeah. If OpenAI wins that case, copyright is basically done.
It's dead. But it won't win. Well, actually, with the
current administration, they might win.
If somebody greases the right palms.
The counter to that, once that happened, it might take a while for it to come around. But basically, what you do is, because if they win that fight, you then turn around and say that nothing that comes out of AI can be copyrighted.
Right.
Because then you can't make money off of it.
Which I don't think it should be anyway.
You can't. It shouldn't be anyway. Anything we can do to combat this needs to happen.
I agree. It's spiraling so fast. It's we're not going to be able to keep up with legislation and regulation.
Well, of course, that's part of the idea. Move fast and break things,
stuff,
as they say. And again, maybe the international people are not going to see as much of this on the ground because Europe has much better AI slop rules. Mm-hmm. But the election cycle next year is going to be madness.
I know.
Because
with the fake video and
you're not going to be able to trust almost anything you see.
Yeah.
And that's that. I mean, that's almost the point, right?
Well, it's like I said, people who just watch TV and just believe whatever they see on their screen.
Right. Well, now you just there are certain news channels, and I use news very loosely, are going to gladly run these AI things as they're real.
They already did.
And but
we've already had people high up, and I'm not going to name names, high up in the administration using AI videos.
Oh, sure. Yeah. But I'm talking about news channels because even a lot of the people that you think of as kind of being in that realm, they're not reading Twitter. They're not reading truth.com. They don't have social media. They get it from TV. It's cable news. Cable news drives most of this, and as long as they're willing to be a conduit for that, that's that. There's nothing else you can do about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. The genie's kind of out of the bottle in some ways. I can tell when I'm looking at that stuff 90% of the time, but I've more and more seen that other people cannot. And we can't run around policing that all the time and saying, no, this isn't real, this isn't real. And sometimes I've run into things where I'm like, this is not, even friends of mine where I'm like, this isn't real. This is an AI thing. And they're like, well, the point isn't that it's real. The point is how it makes you feel. And I'm like, no, that is...
Oh, we're so doomed.
That is not...
so doomed.
That, because, again, this goes back to our critical thinking thing from it's hard to explain to a fucking idiot what the difference between this lie generated by an AI thing, like why that's not a thing to be okay with, versus like someone created a fictional music like video out of their own animated thing or whatever. And the worst thing about it is that like it's hard to tell anymore. I saw this. It turned out to be too old to be AI, so that was what clinched it for me. It turned out to be this one dude who'd drawn. He just did an animation of the Falcon and a bunch of the X-Wings and A-Wings approaching the hole on the Death Star in Return of the Jedi and going down it.
Yeah.
Like done in like an anime style, and it's phenomenal. Like I would watch the whole movie redone like that. But I'm like, is that AI? Can I? And
you question it now.
And I looked it up, and he did it in 2017. So it was like, okay, so that's not. And
you can't tell anymore.
And it turned out the guy's been trying to get a job at Lucasfilm that whole time, and they just won't hire. And I'm like, what are you doing? I would pay you money just to watch that. Yeah. Do you know that?
Well, here's what I say.
But it's just like you can't trust anything.
It's going to take something like this to make things change. It's going to, like you said, it's going to take a Nintendo or a Disney with deep pockets and plenty of lawyers.
I mean, if anyone can do it, it's Nintendo.
Yeah.
But Nintendo's going to have to be willing to have that fight.
We also have to think: is OpenAI wrapped up in the administration? Are they bros with the administration? Is that going to hurt us if we go after OpenAI? I know it's crazy. We got to move on though. Our final topic for this week's lightning round.
I mean, that's Altman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's already fed his...
I know. He already went and bent the knee.
Well, he went bent the knee, but he's already fed his image for free into all those things he works on. 40% of the visual imagery of Sam Altman on the internet is not real.
Fake. Yeah, I know.
And that means there's no way to know what he's doing and not... It's cover.
Yeah.
You can use it as cover as easily as you can use it as smear. Yeah. There's not going to be any way to tell what's real anymore.
Yeah, it sucks. All right, our final topic for this week's lightning round. A little bit of a sad story. We learned this week that Peter Molyneux of Fable fame, at least that's what most people know him for, just shared that the game that he is working on right now is going to be his last game. And the quote that he gave about this really made me sad. He said, quote, "I just haven't got the life energy left to do this again," unquote.
It's a very video game way to put it.
It is, but I was like, dang, man. Like, he's only 66. He's not that old.
No, but he has been busting it since he was a teenager. Like, he's worked his life.
What will he be remembered for, Matt?
I mean, the majority of people today will probably remember him as a liar, whether that's fair or not. Mm-hmm. I remember him as... I remember him from Populous. Mm-hmm. The old Bullfrog days, I think of that. I remember him from Black and White. I mean, I've played most of the stuff he's ever had his hands on. Yeah. I remember that the movies is the last thing he made that he really was his. Yeah. I remember that Fable was really something they saved from Big Blue Box and ended up being the thing that it was either they could do that or BC, and they picked Fable because they thought Fable had the biggest market potential. Yeah. And so when he was doing the Milo and Kate stuff, that was his baby, while the Fable thing was sort of the breadwinner. And basically what happens once he leaves, once Lionhead collapses, the last game that he had worked on that came to market that was his game was the movies. Mm-hmm. That's a long time to be stuck in that situation.
He's worked on like Goddess and a bunch of small mobile
Goddess
stuff.
was a disaster.
Yeah. His mobile games have all been.
The 22 cans thing just like never really. I mean, that one thing where you just tap the thing
game,
forever.
Yeah.
I admit I played that. I did that. If you even want to call it play. We were sitting in the booth shooting stuff. There's nothing else to do but tap the fucking phone. I mean, it was Cookie Clicker before it was Cookie Clicker, right? Yeah.
Joaquin Dragon says, I remember him as the first name I Googled on how to say it correctly. People are saying they're going to miss him in our chat.
Curiosity Cube, yeah. I mean, he was a scam artist from the beginning.
Except for Emperor Dread, he says Molyneux is a hack, in my opinion.
He did some good stuff. Some of that might be, his track record is not amazing.
Black and White, Ruthina reminds us.
I love Black and White. Yeah. Again, Black and White, not really much of a game, but great toy. Mm-hmm. And again, he bluffed his way into the fucking industry. You know that?
Yeah,
if anyone doesn't know that story, he was working for his father-in-law's canning business. Yeah. In Guilford, and their name was Taurus. It was Taurus, and Atari contacted him thinking he was Taurus Software, and basically commissioning him to work for the Atari, some Commodore thing, some Atari system, computer. They wanted him to write like basically a database program, and he was like,
Okay.
And he went up to meet with them. He went up to meet with them in Northern England, and he brought like he said I had a briefcase full of canned bean samples because I didn't understand what they wanted, and he was like, this is my chance. I can just not tell them what's going on, and we can go back and we will break into the game. We'll break into, because that's what he really wanted to do. He didn't want to sell canned goods, right? Yeah. So he said, yes, we'll do that. And he went back. They sent them more development stations than he had employees. And they just started messing with it, and he came up with the green field that became Populous. And eventually Atari's like, where's our database program? And they're like, oh no. So they whipped together a database program in like 2 days, and they sent it to Atari, and Atari's like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is garbage. And he's like, okay, but what about this thing? And he basically showed them like what was a prototype of what would become Populous. And Atari was like,
okay,
keep going. Yeah. And that is how Peter Molyneux got into video game development.
It's great.
Like,
great story.
Which is like, how can you be surprised about anything else that happened later when you know that's how that started, right?
Yeah.
He's a showman and a salesman and a bit of a carnival barker. But I will tell you, as someone who has been in the room and had conversations with him several times, he is the most charming man. You understand why people want him to succeed.
I think we need people like Molyneux in the industry. I just think we do. I think it gives personality. It gives people different perspectives on things.
Like, I understand why people react the way they do to him, but I mean, I'm telling you, man.
Because he did lie a lot.
He did misrepresent a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
And
he knew what he was doing.
I experienced it firsthand doing some of the previous stuff, especially with Fable 3 with him, because he was kind of checked out on that, and it was clear that he hadn't quite compared what he thought the game was going to be to what the game had become.
Yeah.
But, like, man, I'll tell you, that one GDC, when we went in for Fable 2, for the Fable 2 demo and the interviews and stuff, and I had just finished Fable 1, replaying it, and I told him, I'm like, I played as a pure archer, I never hit anything with a melee weapon, I just shot everything, and he goes, then you are going to love what we've done with this button right here. And he posts the Y button, and it's like, everything you need in terms of distance, you hit the Y button, you push a direction, and you are sending that projectile at the, and I'm like, oh wow, that's amazing. And we walk out, and Adam Sessler goes like, you started talking to Molyneux, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, we were talking about Fable 2 and how they've changed the thing because I was an archer, and he's like, what did he tell you? I'm like, he told me that the Y button shoots. That's the only thing he said. It was the Y button shoots. That's the whole fucking conversation was just the Y button shoots. What the fuck happened to me? Like, I was like, the fucking field, the distortion field got me. Oh, he got me. Completely got me. Like, I was enthralled for like 5 minutes of this fucking speech he gave me, and we're walking out. I'm like, what the fuck? I never fall for that shit.
You
like
did that time.
And oh my God, Peter Molyneux fucking got me on that one. I will always remember. I think of that every time I'm up against someone I know is a fast talker, because I'm like, don't fall for the Molyneux shit. Don't fall for the Molyneux shit. Like, that was a very important moment in my life. Everyone is susceptible to propaganda. Don't ever forget that.
All right, that's it for the lightning round, which means there's just one thing left to do. That's right, party people. It is time for Name That Game Tune, brought to you by Soundwizardry.com, the absolute wizards in audio, game audio, TV show audio. In fact, I put together LS Cream and Soundwizardry.com, and they've been working on some stuff together. They can work on anything, but they are absolutely the masters of game audio. If you're working on a game project right now and your sound team isn't getting it done, call Soundwizardry.com right now, or go to Soundwizardry.com. Get in touch with Glenn and crew over there. Awesome people, awesome work. They've created awesome projects. You will not be disappointed if you hire Glenn at Soundwizardry.com. Get over there and make it happen.
Go make a drink for that contest called the Waveform.
Actually, yeah.
I don't know what that would be, but that's your problem.
And because Glenn and crew at Soundwizardry.com are so freaking cool, we do this awesome thing here on GameFace called Name That Game Tune, where I play 5 audio samples from a video game, and you try to guess the name of the game before Matt here. Matt, have you won the last 2 weeks in a row?
No, I got last week. I don't think I won the week before.
No, the week before was Body Harvest, wasn't it?
No, that was 2 weeks ago.
That was 2 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, and someone else got that.
Yeah.
And then
I thought you won the last 2.
No, I won a couple, but one of them somebody else won, and then they didn't have a PC or something.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. You're right.
I've won a couple in the last month.
Well, if you win this, if you beat him, you get a free PC game. So if you don't play PC games, you don't know anybody who plays PC games, don't play. Yeah. Just sit it out, let somebody else win.
And on the way out last week, I did show Shane my 1/6 scale working Berserk arcade machine.
Yeah.
It was just not a good choice. I mean, there's no way for you to know
he actually
that picking
was like,
Berserk
it turns out
was
he was a huge fan of Berserk.
Yeah, You picked one of my top 5.
There's no way to know. I don't talk to him about this beforehand. So anyway, also, if you've won this year, don't play. You can only win once per calendar year. And then finally, the chat goes into a slow mode, which means it'll only let you put one chat in every 60 seconds.
Sekiro. I got Sekiro.
Yep. So don't try to spam the chat hoping you'll guess the name of the game right. You won't. And you'll end up losing because you'll get it and you'll go to type it in and it won't let you. So don't just spam the chat. Make sure you're making informed choices before you put it in the chat. Are you ready to play Name That Game Tune, Matt?
Yeah.
Let me bring up the graphics. Let me bring up the sound. And here we go. Here's
a little louder.
Little louder? Maybe a little more. Is that good?
Yeah.
All right. Here is the first sample for Name That Game Tune in 3, 2, 1. It's not Tron, Joaquin Dragon. You're trying to guess it before you hear a sample again. Like that happened one
It's
time.
Tron Week.
It is Tron Week. But it's not Tron. We have a winner. Zet Saber just won.
Oh, wow.
It is, in fact, Star Fox Super Nintendo. Look at that. Good job, Zet Saber. Did anybody else get it? Cal Subs S also got it, but he was just a second late, unfortunately. Good job, Zet Saber. Wow. I really thought that sample, no one would get it from that, but yep. Nice work, Zet Saber. Yeah, it's when you talk to Sergeant Pepper before the level. Yep. Here, I'll play the rest of them just for fun. Here's the second one.
I would have known that.
Would you have got that?
Yeah.
Here's the third.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the fourth. And then the last one. If people didn't get it from this, they didn't play Star Fox.
Good luck.
There you go. Yeah. Congratulations, Zet Saber. Awesome job, man, to get it that fast on that first clue. Great job. Zet Saber, you and I communicate all the time. You know how to get at me to get your game. Just DM me on SIFTD or whatever. It all works out.
That third sample is just like it's like Super Nintendo sound.
It really is, yeah. But I will say this, when I was putting this together, it did remind me how improved the sound was on Super Nintendo.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I remember, like I said, the first Super Nintendo stuff it was Super Famicom when it first came out. One of my friends was from Japan and had one of his friends who got one send him a VHS tape of playing all the launch games. And the first one was Mario World, which we're like, okay, we'll go cool, Mario World. And then the second thing on the tape was ActRaiser. And that music blew me out the back of the fucking building. I love Yuzo Koshiro anyway. Like, I think he's one of the greatest composers in game history. But like, all of a sudden, this thing that sounded like an orchestra after years of the bleeps and bloops of, not that NES had bad music, and then Genesis with like that weird ass scratchy. I mean, I love the Genesis sound chip. Like, it's got that dirty ass like quality to it.
Yeah, it does.
That almost like dirty like. It's like a dirty warehouse rave.
Yeah,
almost
it's like sawtooth wave.
Yeah,
I hear what you're saying.
It's got an industrial feeling.
Yeah.
It's like it's covered in soot.
Yeah.
But like then the Super Nintendo with this clean orchestral from ActRaiser, like I watched that over and over and over just for the music.
Yep.
So yeah, Super Nintendo music was a revelation.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to do it for GameFace episode 453. Thanks to all our crew on YouTube. I think we had the most chat we've ever had on YouTube today. That's freaking great. So come on back. We're here every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. Thanks to our crew on Twitch, as usual, with all the Twitch Prime and everything. We appreciate you guys very much. If you're watching this show right now on YouTube and you're trying to figure out what this Twitch Prime stuff is that we talk about every episode, just go down below in the clip description. You can give us a free $2.50 every month if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber. You can do it. You can give us a free like $30 a year for nothing. It costs you nothing. And once you've connected your two accounts, it's literally like a 3-second process once a month. So if you could do that, that would be great. Regardless of whether you're doing that or not, it would be great if you could help us out at patreon.com/SIFTD. That's SIFTD for those of you listening to this show instead of watching. There for just $5 a month, you get all our content early. There's higher tiers there. The names that you see scrolling below me right now, those people are pledging at $30 per month, and they're freaking awesome. Like, we really appreciate those people big time, but we appreciate everybody. Even if you just give us $1 a month just because, that's sweet too. Like, we appreciate any kind of help. If you don't have money, you don't have Amazon Prime, you can help us out a bunch of different ways. Like the show, review the show on Apple Podcasts. That would be great. Review it on any podcast app that you're listening to the show on. That makes a big difference for us. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. We're on all of them. Review us on any of those. That would be awesome. If you're watching on YouTube, like the show, ring the bell so you're alerted when the next one comes up. Comment on the show, share the show on social media, say, hey, this is the best gaming podcast. Like, these people go below the surface, unlike all the other gaming podcasts.
Everyone else goes high, we go low. Every time.
It's hilarious. So anyway, appreciate everybody who shows up live. Like, you guys corrected us on like 3 things today during the show. You guys make the show better, and you keep me from having to go back and like edit the show and make edits on fixed it. I don't have to do anything because of you guys. And again, we're here every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/SiftedGames or youtube.com/SiftedGames. And again, you don't have to do any of that. You can just watch the show, and we love you too. Like, our audience means a lot to us. And we actually know a lot of our audience, unlike a lot of the other bigger outlets and the bigger Patreons. It's more of a personal connection with us, and that's what we really appreciate. So, everybody, have yourselves a great week filled with great games. We'll see you next week for Battlefield 6, and I think we're going to review the first ever Digimon game on GameFace, because there's a Digimon game out there that's pretty good, and we're going to talk about it next week along with Battlefield 6 and a bunch of other stuff. Everyone have a great week filled with great games. GameFace is up and out.